Today on 8.5-bit, we kill some gods, kill some cardboard, and kill James.
What?
Oh.
Welcome, friends of all designs, to episode 241 of 8.5-bit, which I'm sure will be the most rage-filled episode of them all.
Yes.
I'm your host, Paul, and joining me today are my good friends, James.
Hello.
And Amy.
Hi.
And friends, why didn't we record last week?
Because I was sick.
I was tired.
Well, we just had James. I mean, we would have forced you to come.
No, you didn't.
Because your excuse was less legitimate.
Fell
No.
off. Oh, yeah, you don't want what I had. That was terrible. It was like 2 weeks of feeling like shit.
Okay.
Now I feel mostly better.
I thought the joke was I'm always tired.
You are. That's true. Okay, so as we've been making note of recently, it's not really cryptic, but our odd starts, we just say what the games were.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about God of War,
Yes.
Labo, and the game where we murder James. That'll be fantastic. Let's just say the third one was about Detroit Become Human. There we go.
Oh, yeah. I died in that.
Yeah, probably. Fuck, we'll get to
We'll
it.
get to Detroit.
We'll get to
Detroit.
it. Man, what a week. Anyway, so any fun adventures?
I was sick.
I saw... Oh, it's falling.
Your microphone's fallen down.
No, she never tilted it up.
I
told her to-
did.
Oh, you
I
did?
There we
did.
go. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep an eye on your tilty microphone, you tilty girl.
I went and saw Avengers Infinity War.
Ah, yes.
I enjoyed that. It was good.
Give me insightful critique with no spoilers.
Here we go.
Lots of heroes went pew-pew at each other.
Is that a critique?
Yes.
Seems like a description.
It is a critique, because it's like, if there were no pew-pews, it wouldn't be
I
as
think anything that's
interesting.
quantifiable value. How about lots of heroes did a good pew pew at each other?
I think they managed to pull off a lot of characters much better than they have in the past.
My water bottle's louder than
Yeah,
I
it
thought
is.
was.
It's full of ice.
I love my icy water bottle. It's surprisingly how together that film
Yeah.
is with the amount of things.
Yeah.
I mean, most of it they just do it by ignoring most characters and just having them in the scene. Just making sure everyone gets name dropped once, so everyone can go, yeah. And Thanos was a good villain.
Yeah.
His chin is funny.
It looks like
It does
some
look
testicles.
It does.
My favorite thing was at the end, the amount of people around me that did not realize it was part one and were very confused.
Yes. I was one of them.
Foolish people. Okay, so one thing I need to do earlier in the show that I plan to. I've been playing this game. Well, not so much playing. Trying to play this game 99 Vitas.
Yep.
And I currently have the PS4 on next to the show, which
Yep.
is why I need to do this now, because I want to turn the damn PS4 off. Because ever since God of War, it can't do anything but sound like an
God of
aircraft.
War was so powerful it broke your PS4.
But this game is a little bit the same the other way. So I'm trying to test it. It came, I think it was part of PS Plus. It's just a side-scrolling beat 'em up. But they've made one fatal flaw in the design of this game. So I just gotta get my character back up.
What? Oh. So it's coming out of the actual controller.
I gotta do the effect again. Yeah, every time I do a powerful attack. I'm trying to play this late at night with like the sound of my PS4 off. Doesn't make a fucking difference in that game. A bunch of attacks and stuff, and when enemies go at you, it all comes out. And I could not find a way. I mean, you could be able to do it system level. I didn't double check. But in the game,
Yeah.
you can't stop the controller from yelling at you.
Luckily, your PS4 is so loud. It's not much of an issue.
Not compared to this bloody
yeah.
thing. I immediately had calls from the bedroom. Can you turn it down? Like, I actually can't. This doesn't. The TV's off, but this thing's still fucking going. Anyway, so I don't have much impressions.
Apparently, there is an option in there somewhere to turn down the sound in
System level, but not in the game.
Ah, okay, yeah, gotcha.
Because I mean, I like allowing it on for other things. I don't want to have to manage that on or off per game. Because normally most things, if they're using the controller, they use it subtly.
Yeah.
Not that fucking game.
Yeah.
You want to punch? Time to yell through the fucking controller. There was actually another game I played that did a similar thing. I'm like, what has happened? But anyway.
Yeah.
It actually did
Gimmicks.
strike me as... Because I love using controller speaker. And it made me actually think, when you have like mass brawlers, your Smash Bros and stuff like that, if individual player sounds came from individual players, that actually could make it clearer, like to be able to have heavier hits, because you generally have to mute things in games like that, otherwise it becomes too chaotic.
So you can actually hear who you've hit.
Yeah. Like your stuff just comes out of your local controller, so that could be a way of having
Unfortunately,
heavier punches
the quality
and
of the speaker is pretty terrible.
Yeah, but it doesn't need to be great, like for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We're not listening to music through it or something. Or maybe we should.
No.
God of War soundtrack played only through PS4 speakers.
Beautiful.
Controller speakers. Be good. Okay, so how should we start?
Well, I don't know. We got a lot of stuff there.
God of War is a very, very big game, which James and I both completed.
Yep.
Amy got Labo for her birthday.
I did.
And she's brought us a house.
Yeah.
But you haven't used the house other than constructing it, correct?
Correct.
But correct, because constructing is a big thing. So we're talking about... we can talk about smaller things, because I just feel like if I start God of War, that's going to be like a fucking hour of the
that's half the
episode
show.
gone.
Right
and
there.
I'll just be like,
Yeah.
come on, let's move on to something
Although
else.
I wonder, because... okay, let's kick off with God of War, but we'll try to keep it concise. And if
Yep.
we have anything that's super important, we'll try to split it off later. Because I think one of the things that will limit the discussion we have is the best thing about God of War is its story. And we can't fucking say a thing about it because that's the fun.
I want
Yes.
to play it as well. So
Yeah. It's a surprisingly heartfelt, well-delivered story.
So we can't talk about the best thing,
Yeah.
which means we can only start ranking the things as they get worse.
Yes.
So can we start at the bottom?
All right, we'll start at the bottom.
Start at the bottom and work our way up
Yeah.
to good things.
So I'd say...
So pick what you think might be the worst thing.
probably bosses. Enemies and bosses.
Boss variety.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
When I think of the earlier God of War games and the scale of the boss fights, in this one they were a bit... Like, they were still okay, but there was only a couple occasions where I thought, this feels epic. Most of them are reskin trolls.
Yeah.
So...
And it was pointed out to me, in Norse mythology, there aren't actually a lot of like big cool monsters going around the place.
Yeah.
It's not like Greek where we've got titans everywhere and hydras and all these cool creatures. There are obviously giant creatures. They're part of that, but I mean, as the story goes on, you can see where they're going to play a bigger part in later stuff. And there are dragons around, but really the main thing is kind of trolls. But the problem is they're all the same troll.
Yeah.
They all carry a big piece of
Yeah.
rock, and they all, with the exception of one, attack the same way.
And
but with different elements
they all have
powers.
the same finishing animation, and
Yeah.
it feels pretty lackluster when you've taken on this big troll, and this is the 7th time I've seen this finisher.
Yeah, I really hated when it was a real build up to a boss. Like, it's like, we're going to a totally new place.
Yeah.
We're going to find this person. We're going to kill them. We've got to do this. And you get there and like, oh, look, it's a fucking
The
troll.
troll.
Or you enter an area and you see two statues, which are trolls. And you're like, well, I know what's happening at the end of this area. Those statues are coming to fucking life.
They did mix them up a little bit. Like, there'd be some where like they might need different elemental attacks. Or
Well,
like,
elemental attacks was about the main difference.
Yeah, but it's generally the boss
And
fights.
one had a
were-
warp attack, or
Yeah.
had a warp ability. That
Yeah.
was the interesting one. But they were sort of not that fun to fight. So that's... I could put that as worse. What I was thinking of worse is the loot system in this game is terrible. It has crafting, so you can craft armor. And you unlock a new tier of armor, and you're like, "Ooh, what will I craft? Ooh, well, that looks good. Okay, so what do I need to craft that? I don't know what any of that is.
Well, because here's stuff that you can't even access yet if you want to craft it.
Yeah. So how do I go find this stuff? Oh well, just keep playing the game and
Yeah.
open random chests, and they might have the element you're after. With the exception of some later game stuff where you
Yeah.
have to go fight some certain creatures to get those elements, but they still don't tell you that.
Yeah. See, I kind of looked at that stuff. I think there's almost like two games going on with God of War. There's like this core experience, which is fully meaty. You can play through. It's about 20 hours or so. It's not terribly difficult, but it's a good, enjoyable experience.
yeah.
And then there's this whole end game they've got in there. Like, if you want to, you can kind of, if you do want to get up on all of this legendary gear, because I didn't get a single piece of legendary gear playing this game. I had just the purples. And
Well, most of them need you to require a few of the sort of big optional side quest fighting.
Yeah.
I won't even mention what you're fighting there. I mean, it's not a huge spoiler if you do, but why mention it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've killed a couple of them now just because I tried fighting them halfway through the game. It's like, this fucking sucks. I hate it. I like tried 40 times in a row.
Yeah.
And I could often get them down to like a slither of health, but then they'd like take me out in like one hit. And then I went back end game and like, I could just murder them without taking a hit. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm just much stronger now.
like, I wouldn't say the game is super open. Like, it's not like you're running around like San Andreas or something.
It's a hub world.
But it's a hub world thing. But it does give you access to things which you don't really have the ability to take down yet. But it still gives you access to them.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, and you can certainly take it, like, as I said, I kept getting those things
Yeah.
down to a slither of health, which
Yeah.
meant if I just played a little bit better, I could
yeah.
have killed them, no
I
problem.
kind of liked it. Like, that it was all optional stuff. The main story seemed to scale. I don't know if it was scaling or it's just the pace I was moving at was about what I should have been moving at.
So we're getting a little too positive now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're still in the negatives. We're still in the
Alright.
negatives. We're going to go there. Okay, so negatives. I would say that some of the things that they really push for technology-wise actually didn't help the game at all. Things like having the camera unbroken over the shoulder. I don't think that necessarily adds anything to the game.
I agree with that. Like early on, I thought this is really cool, and I thought this is going to make this one continuous experience. And I thought it was like, oh, now there's going to be technical limitations that are going to have to come with because the whole world is streamed. So not being able to cut the camera,
fucking impressive.
Yeah, not being able to cut the camera when you're streaming in the world makes shit hard.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, okay, like this is kind of cool. But honestly, after like 2 or 3 hours, I'd stop noticing.
Yeah, because I don't think it's used for any, other than some people feel it gives a sense of intimacy to it. I don't really feel that. I don't think it thematically does anything for the game, and it doesn't help the gameplay because God of War is a game where you fight hordes of things around you, especially in the late game. That happens in this game as well. So you can't see fucking half of them, so they have to put a circle around you indicating where all the enemies are because you can't see them. And if they're firing projectiles, like the witch things, like I have no trouble fighting them unless there's a couple of them, in which case I have no idea where they're throwing projectiles from, and I just have to constantly roll and throw my goddamn axe instead of actually engaging them properly because the viewpoint doesn't 100% fit the gameplay. That said, I mean, I've finished this fucking game. I think I put close to 30 hours into it.
I think I put up 25 or so hours into it, and that was just me mainlining it mainly.
Yeah. So okay, I guess we're going into positives.
Yep.
I think all the side quests are actually really good.
Yep. There's a lot of lore. If you want to learn about the world, those side quests will give you so much detail into what's going on.
There's a whole bunch of ones for these 2 blacksmiths that you meet in the game.
They have a good story.
They're good, but they send you out on these quests, and all the quests have story content, and they're in unique areas, and they're fun challenges. But then there's also just a lot you can explore yourself and find in the world. And what I suppose then moving up, then like level design, I really love the way that this hub world works, and that it's kind of based around this big lake, and as things change in the world, the water level of the lake changes, which exposes areas you couldn't get to before, and then you have new ways of accessing what you could access previous. It's kind of genius way of gating things without...
Yeah, because I liked it because the hub wasn't huge.
No.
But they kept finding new ways to make me go back and explore it.
Yeah, and keep recontextualizing it as a new area.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Then, I suppose, characters?
Good.
Yeah, can't talk about
it's actually
them.
a little hard to talk about without spoiling
Can't
things.
talk about. There's one main sort of companion, I guess, say in the game that isn't the relationship between Kratos and his son. Someone that joins you, and they are fantastic.
They are glorious.
Well written, full of good information, and just fun to hang around with.
Yeah.
The relationship between Kratos and Boy. That's really strong, and I love the way that Boy Atreus. Yeah, he
What's the name of the character in Neverending Story?
Is that Atreus?
I think it's Atreus.
Cool, yeah,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Pretty sure it is. Yeah. Atreyu.
Ah, that's right, Atreyu. Yeah. Every time it's said in the game, I'm like, is that the same? I should have looked it up. Like, is that the name of the boy in?
Yeah, I think the boy's done great. Other than being super useful in combat, which I think is going to be our second highest thing before the story, which we can't talk about.
Yeah.
But really useful in combat, never really in the way. Like, he can get grabbed in content.
Did not happen very often to me.
It happened like 4 times in this whole game for me. It took me half a second to get him out of being grabbed.
Early on, when I didn't really have my handle on the combat, he got caught. And I think he actually might have died. I can't remember. But after that, I'm like, it's fine. Like, generally, it's a bit like Elizabeth in Bioshock Infinite. Like, like he's more helpful than not.
Oh, he is super helpful in the game. Like, when you're... I suppose like the upgrade tree of abilities and everything. Yeah. Like it's worth like just upgrading him like first.
He was actually first one I poured points into.
Because his upgrades are cheap and they're useful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. But the way his attitude stays throughout the story is really like the relationship builds and he changes and becomes like when he starts like talking back a little bit.
Yeah, gets a bit sassy.
Yeah, because he gets comfortable with you and he gets a little bit confident. He's just like, you know what? Fuck all these people. That's great. Confident, cocky Atreus is the best. And he has all different moves.
He's written like a kid.
Yeah. And I think some people found his found some of his turns too quick, but then it's also like this is still like we can't play this game for fucking 3 months. Like, come on, yes, he's got to change on story beats.
Yeah.
And sometimes the story that happens while you naturally explore, because there's obviously triggers around the world to have certain conversations. Sometimes they come out of sync with the story, and they can be
a little bit jarring.
Yeah, if you explore later in the game, it can be. But you've literally had a conversation about that, and now you're hinting about it. But very minor points. So I guess that brings us to combat.
Yep.
Which is incredible. Like, so much attention to making combat generally work in the game. The game is played with the Frost Axe.
Yeah, that's so you're
apparently up to 5 months beforehand, they were still tuning how it comes back to you.
Because there's a very definite way the arc on that thing returns.
It feels great.
Yeah.
So in combat, you can throw the axe, and then Thor-like, you hold out your hand,
and
it just comes back.
Yeah.
So it was things like, does it come back on the arc? Do you have, like, originally you had to stand still to pull it back, and that really held the gameplay up. But also, they just said, he deliberately just never looks at the axe. He just puts his hand out. And just,
so he doesn't have to track it.
Yeah. It's like he just knows how to catch that goddamn axe. It's there.
Yeah.
And also, so often, like, you'll throw it for a puzzle. And quite often the puzzles to open chests and stuff in the game I found really good. They were just fun little geometric puzzles all the time. Yeah. But you've done something like that, and you've walked, halfway across the world, and then you need the axe for something, and you go,
axe, please.
And you just hear, like, smash, crash, crash. I mean, they're not physically modeling it. It's just a sound effect, but it is a funny sound effect.
Every now and then, you would go too far out, and like they just sort of spawn it back in. But generally, like if wherever you recall it from, as long as you're nearby, it would physically just fly back to your hand.
Yeah, if you're in the same area, I think it physically flew, and otherwise it was just it just half-assed it.
I really liked that the combat felt new. I felt like I was having to learn new things because like that mechanic of throw and recall was not something I've played recently anyway.
Not particularly, no. And then you can
especially as
extending on that.
Yeah, especially like as the primary weapon is a thing which you can recall. I didn't feel like I'd played that kind of combat before. Like it felt like I was having to learn new things.
Did you throw the axe a lot?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Some people never throw it at all, basically, other than puzzles.
I also like that because one of the problems I have with original God of War is you have like 50 combos or something like that, and you just like you learn the 2 or 3 you like. And then you spam them. That's the way I play God of War. Where this one, it felt more like combat was different modes, and so the options were kind of smaller. Like if I've got the axe, there's only some number of things I can do, or if I'm barehanded, there's only some number of things I can do. But it's more which one do I pick for the situation?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Quite often you can. You throw an axe at someone whilst a volley of arrows goes towards them.
Yeah. Pull
the axe out so you can start putting up down. Because once you get stunned, you get a stun meter up, and then you can do basically a finishing move on them. But that's only you still get it if you hit them with an axe, but mostly with bare fists. But then also later on, you can get moves like when you recall the axe. Recalling the axe puts you into a move as well and stuff like that. Like it all layers up and you can get really deep with it.
Yeah, there's stuff where like if you attack and then don't move, you then like change stance and then you get a different move.
That's like when you're at the real high end.
Yeah. But it feels like it's not a bunch of combos, it's a tree of states.
Yeah.
And you got to kind of navigate down these tree of states depending on...
About the only thing I didn't like about throwing the axe combat is that if an enemy was very tough and could basically one-hit you, it basically became, unless you were really cocky... Just keep your distance and keep throwing the axe at them, which is a boring way to play.
I did that a couple of times.
I kind of wish there weren't so many purples that could one hit you. I get they can come back later and they won't be so tough to me, but
I actually think
or a better way of being able to recover from a hit, like a Bloodborne thing or something, where it's like, okay, they might knock everything out of you, but if you get in there and get some hits on them, they do that.
Yeah, because there was definitely such a spike with some of the enemies that I just gave up straight away.
Yeah.
Like, there were some fights where I got to and I felt like if I was better at this game, I'd beat it. But there was some where like...
I think all fights are beatable. There's not like there's anything that can't be hurt.
Yeah. There was just some that I hit where like they one-hit me and I saw I'm doing really low damage to them. Mainly the rifts where you pull purples out. Like, whenever I try those, I'd be like, I feel like the game has not got me a point where I can really take this on realistically.
I like most Rift fights, except the fucking witches that I mentioned before. Because when they're powerful and can basically one hit you with a projectile poison attack, and then you can't track them because of the fucking circle. Like, fuck this game. I just noped out of there. I'm like, this is just gonna make me angry.
It just would have been. I think it would have been nice if there was less of a curve on your damage.
Yeah.
Because I don't mind that I've got to get better gear to get better, but I felt like with that game it should be a bit more, maybe I'm going to say a bit more like Dark Souls or something where, you can soul level 0 it, through. I mean, you probably can do it with this. You probably can.
There's literally nothing stopping you because the leveling is all, other than the axe gets upgraded during the story itself. But they're not the major upgrades you do to the axe. You could just not level anything because your level only goes up from gear.
Yeah.
Just don't buy gear.
And that gear system is surprisingly complex if you want to engage with it.
Yeah.
Like there's like 6 or 7 stats or 8 stats or something like that. They all do different things and
then socketing gems, which is often
and that's giving you kind of like these like side abilities to do things. It's like, well, if you want to. And that's where I think if you keep playing it afterwards and you want to start fighting tough stuff, like that's probably the point you have to start engaging more.
A little bit. As a side note, have you noticed how bored Amy is right now?
Yeah, she's pulled out a phone. Totally understand
on
it.
the phone, she is glazed over her eyes.
Yeah.
I think she was dreaming of sweet, sweet oblivion.
Or just sweets in general.
Yeah.
Just sweets in general. Some mixins, someone was
Not them fixins.
No. Yeah, I mean, there's so much to talk about in like how scenario encounters go and exploring the world and things discovered, but so much is based on the discovery of things, which is great. And I really want to dig into it because the way it ties not just more Norse mythology, but because it's definitely a sequel. It is not a reboot.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, tying in the old mythology, the new mythology, but then as is, I don't think it's a spoiler because it was discussed well before the game. The game was going to be Norse or Egyptian, and so that sort of stuff is in there. And there's other stuff that's hinted at as potentially being involved, which includes I think Gaelic and Shinto is there. I would fucking love Shinto mythology to get in eventually because that shit is wild.
Yeah.
To have like a Western take on Shinto mythology would be.
Yeah.
I don't think I've never seen it done. Maybe
No.
some like weird like erotic films or something. Not pornos.
Yeah.
Those things that are like, oh yes.
I don't think we're getting into any Christianity.
Oh man, if there had been a fucking Christian cross in there,
That would've been amazing.
Because I was thinking like, okay, so God of War 7, and it's the half revitalization of the script. So penned by Nick Cave, God of War 7, Christ Killer. I mean, fucking writes itself.
There's enough Old Testament stuff that you could do some really cool shit.
Hey, let's go down and look at El Shaddai again.
Yeah.
Do you know what Christ Killer is, Amy?
No.
Because I use you because you're the stand-in for the audience that doesn't know what I'm talking about. So after Gladiator, you know, the Ridley Scott film with Russell Crowe.
I haven't seen it, but sure.
But you know it exists.
Yes.
And you know it's about a gladiator. He dies at the end. Spoiler.
Oh my goodness.
Spoiler for a 15, 20-year-old film. So afterwards, they're like, hey, this movie made so much... I don't know. This is the accent the producer. Hey, it made so much money. You guys make a sequel. Do whatever you want. But he's dead. Do whatever you want. So Ridley Scott went to Nick Cave, and Nick Cave's like, you know what? Yeah. I think Maximus sure he's dead, but he can now just travel throughout history through great battles. And we're going to call it Christ Killer. And weirdly, didn't get picked up.
Oh no, he's saying
Didn't get
picked.
I would. That's like my dream if that movie was made. Whether it was good, I don't know if it was good or not. But man, what a fucking turn that would have been.
There's some alternative
Christ
universe.
Killer. I mean,
that
genius.
happened.
Pew pew.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, lots of pewing in there. God of War is super impressive. It lost me very, very early because the game starts with you cutting down a tree and then getting in a boat. But when you get in that boat, the boat doesn't make any ripple effects in the water. So
you're out,
worst
you're done.
game ever made.
Yeah.
Fuck this. But everything else is incredibly detailed. Visually, it is...
It's one of those games where I'd stop and
wonderful.
look at it.
Yeah.
I just look up at the trees and just check it out. Like it's a very enticing world to explore, and there's a lot to find.
Yeah.
There's so much in there.
I do kind of hate, especially earlier in the game, where basically you enter a new area, have the fight, and then you walk around the perimeter of the area looking for all the hidden things and the puzzles you have to solve in the area. But you start going down a pathway and you hear a bit of dialogue start. You go, oh shit, that story!
Yeah,
Quick,
yeah.
turn around! I haven't
Yeah.
finished the area yet.
Yeah.
I mean, later on they give you a compass which tells you where the story is, so you just avoid that direction until you're
It's like,
ready.
I'm not going
but-
there yet. And Michael mentioned that it needs the photo mode already. I think we're going to see
God.
some
I didn't
real pretty shots.
because I'd heard photo mode mentioned when I first got the game. Like I hit like the first impressive looking thing, and I'm like, okay, pause. Where's this
Where's this photo mode?
So then I looked at it, I was like, oh, it's not in the game.
I think it's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, but I didn't like do save games throughout it. It didn't seem to have a checkpointing system where I can go back to chapters, so I'd have to replay the entire game.
Yeah, and it's lengthy.
It is a long one.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I don't know if they're going to New Game Plus it. I don't think they are.
No, I mean they've got the like God of War mode, which is you cannot change difficulties during it, and it's very hard. But I'm not really there to challenge myself that much. I played on normal, and I thought normal was an appropriate.
Yeah, I felt it was pretty good.
difficulty.
Yeah.
I was challenged without being frustrated. Except for things when I was trying things that were above my level,
Yeah,
which allowed to be frustrating.
I didn't mind that. Like, I actually felt it was real nicely balanced. Like, it just felt like it never felt like a complete cakewalk. I felt like I died plenty of times.
It was tough enough that I could be killed, but most of the time I still was in a power fantasy.
Yeah.
And just smashing the shit out of things.
Yes.
Parrying, stabbing them in the face.
Doing
jumping
charge
up.
attacks, cleaving skulls.
Oh, throwing an axe, all good. Whacking
Using
them with
an
my
axe.
shield.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the axe from my wood pile at the back. You can see it's sharp because of all the nicks, all those safe nicks in the blade there. Nice and wobbly that blade is.
I like how
That's what
you're
they say,
using that
safe.
axe wearing thongs.
Yeah. Well, what about the other night where I wasn't using the axe at all?
Oh, that's right. Using like a
power saw.
Power saw with thongs. It's beautiful.
After
drinking
in the middle of the night
in the dark.
after drinking heavily. But because safety is third, I said, "Okay, guys, I've drunk so much that I'm all right to use the power sword now. But if I try to grab it again after this point, stop me." So I thought that was very responsible of me.
So dogs first, then what's second?
Dogs, the booty, and then safety.
Yeah.
That's safe. God of War is, I suppose, overall, it's getting plenty of 10 out of 10s and everything, right? And some people go, "Oh, it's revolutionary." I think there's very little revolutionary about this game. I think it is a very game. I think a lot of it really harkens back to not quite original God of War design, but one generation up. So it really is. It's kind of like a last generation game anyway, with just incredible visuals. But it's still a really fucking good game.
Yeah,
Yeah. If someone tells me it's the defining of the generation game, I'm like, not really, but still 10 out of fucking 10. I had a great time.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got a huge list of flaws. Yeah, but I had a fucking great time. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to give it a score. If I was going to give it a score, give it an axe.
Yeah.
Give it an axe out of trees.
It's worth a buy.
Yeah, it certainly got my money out of it. Yeah. I don't finish a lot of AAA games, as people that have heard me would know. I'm not really into that many mainstream games.
You love Destiny too.
Which is the early unlock for Humble Bundle next month.
Oh,
which I thought was
isn't it?
Really weird choice.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, and there's nothing wrong with them doing it. I just don't really expect Activision Blizzard to be putting games on Humble like that.
Yeah. Says something about the current state of the game on PC.
Yeah. Well, it's not even necessarily bad. It's like, we want to get players in.
Yeah.
Because they can push in their DLCs, and if you really want to be active, you've got to be on that
Yeah, for
line.
sure, yeah.
So it really seems more like basically giving away the base game, which is now worthless to a degree. Still got a good single player, but if you really want to engage,
if you want to get
gotta
to
spend some
that
money.
end game stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, $15 for that.
Yeah, just those companies I didn't expect to be involved. So I was a bit taken aback when I saw it. Yeah. So God of War. Any other closing thoughts?
No.
Amy?
Actually, Sam started watching Elliot play, so we just sort of sat there watching Elliot play it, and it's really pretty. That's really all I can say about it.
I like his beard. There's some good beards. Kratos' beard.
Yeah.
There are some fantastic beards. No spoilers, but there is the best beard ever in that game. There is some amazing beard.
And they run credits twice.
Nice.
And do you know why they have to run credits twice, game?
Why?
Because
I like he's called me Game.
I know I do that sometimes.
Games.
Video games. Is because where the game finishes, they got to say okay, well, this is the end of the game, but then they need you to go somewhere else to have a story finish. Yeah. But they have a single camera that never cuts, so they can't cut to you being at another place. So it's I'm sure they'll go back there eventually, and we can run credits a second time.
Yeah.
If you guys could just have a cut, this would have worked out fine.
Would be much easier.
Yeah, but no, can't ever cut that fucking camera, can you? they're slaves to a style that doesn't actually help them. I don't think. It's cool. I don't think the tech's still working out fine, and keeping it always from their perspective is good. Although it's not always from their perspective because the camera can float away. It can go and do shit.
Oh yeah. It does.
So the fact that it never cuts is kind of.
And there was some parts where there was a bit of we just faded the whole screen to white.
Oh yeah, you fade to black or white. And also just bullshit okay, sure there isn't a loading screen here, but I am just here standing looking at a doorway waiting for it to open for 20 seconds. I know what's happening. I have been around a video game before.
It's that old Metroid Prime, I know that door's going to take about 15 seconds to open.
Well, it's like you, the fast travel system, and you're, it's not really a spoiler to say what that is.
The world? It's just between
Well,
worlds.
yeah.
Like it's just
So
it's
this
a
world,
hub.
and
that you go through.
someone had someone commenting about, oh, what about getting lost? I'm like, we haven't spent a lot of time in there because it's just a circle you literally run in,
and the door will
then-
appear as soon as the loading's done.
As soon as
somewhere.
the loading's finished, it appears in front of
Yeah.
you. In fact, if you're running, it can appear and you can run past it,
Yeah.
so that you have to turn
Yeah.
back and do it. It's like, none of these are bad, but they're all just obvious masks.
Yeah.
Why are there so many long rivers towards new areas? Because they're loading fucking data in. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
Like, it's not any problem, but it's like, yeah, it's... I mean, they could just have a cut. They could... It lets you
Yeah.
to do something story-wise that might have actually helped at
Yeah.
some points. And, yeah... Anyway, it's like they took away some options, but didn't
There was
really.
not a terrible amount of gain.
Yeah, they didn't really get a whole lot of gain
Yeah.
from it. Yeah, just other than us going like, "Ooh, that's very cool, very impressive."
Oh.
Actually, I like it again because there's this end game. After you finish the story, you still keep playing the game. And then afterwards, there's a big change to the world. So there's actually a lot of big art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That actually surprised me.
It's like, oh shit, you guys. Like, there's not the most work in the game, but there's a
But
big
there's-
fucking
there's
lot of work
work.
you had to throw in
There's
to do
work.
that.
There's
That's
work
cool.
there.
Yeah. Anyway, God of War.
Good video game.
It is the best God of War I've ever played because I've never finished another one because I always get bored.
Yeah, I'm actually in the same camp. I've never actually finished another God of War. I get through like halfway through and I lose steam. This one kept me the whole way.
Yeah. It must be that camera that's close and never cuts.
Yeah. I was really felt connected to the
Yeah,
characters.
it's true. Yeah. Did you like Kratos?
Yeah, I like Kratos in it.
Yeah, I find the amount of people that just hate him odd. He seems fine.
I don't know.
He seems appropriate for what he's supposed to be.
He's Kratos but older. I thought that was
He's grumpy old man.
yeah. Boy.
Yeah, he almost never says his son name. It's always boy.
Boy.
You've got a boy button because that's the thing. Like because Atreus will. Now I've got the wrong one. I can't even remember.
Atreyu.
Atreus. You just point the reticle at something and hit the boy button, and he fires an arrow at it. But he goes boy, and it's just like and every time you need him to do something, it's always that button. He's always mapped to square.
That's the
so
boy
that's
button.
the boy button.
Yeah.
That's great. Boy, do this. Boy.
Boy. I saw a great supercut where people just got
All the
like all the
boys.
boys and put them together.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's become like the meme of it, but it's also fine. Like
Yeah.
it's not an annoying one. I
No,
don't
it never-
think
it
I'm going
never
to get
shit
sick
me.
of people saying boy.
Yeah.
And it is kind of funny in the game, the man
Yeah.
said boy. But not, it's just like, this is a fun meme to come out of it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Okay, so God of War.
Dun,
Good.
dun, dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
Amy loved it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty for the 10, 15 minutes that I saw of it.
So, Amy,
Hi.
for your birthday, in which you turned 11?
12. 12.
Good.
I'm
112.
almost a teenager, Paul.
Oh, that'll be good. It'll be nice to see the changes in your body. Start growing some facial hair.
Boy.
Big bushy beard.
Beards are terrifying.
They're awesome.
They're all right.
So weird.
So good.
It's
It's
good.
like hair coming out of you. It's just out of your face.
That's a lot of people's
Out of
hair
your
is
face.
hair that comes out of you. Yeah, but just think about it. You can like mat our hair together, and then we can't escape.
Like some kind of super being.
Yeah, like a Chinese finger trap of face.
No.
If we do this, we have to make sure to brush our teeth very regularly. If I'm stuck to you.
I mean, I'll make you do it, but I mean, I'm
No,
fine.
we're in for this together.
Oh, what, you think you can lay down some rules for Paul? Do you? You haven't known Paul very well, have you?
Oh, you're
Let's
right.
get that spray bottle. Keep me under control. Okay.
A Nordic beady.
So we gave you. Well, I wasn't meaning to say that, but yes, we
Yeah.
gave you Labo for your birthday as a present.
Yep.
Just like should we get the credit?
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
And your boyfriend also put in for it because none of us are poor enough to afford Labo.
None of us are
Cardboard
poor
is
enough.
expensive.
It is.
Cut down trees.
It's true.
chop up trees.
You received Labo, and how have you found Labo?
I love it. It's really the building part that I love, though.
But
The toy bit's cool, but building it's the best bit, I feel.
Or how long did it take you to build that house?
Half an hour for the house, and then probably like 10, 15 minutes for the other little key bits.
There's some
all
cool
the
little
buttons
mechanisms.
and
Yeah.
stuff. I like this button. Suddenly, only video viewers can see my sexy button. That's pretty good.
Have you learned anything about like mechanical systems from doing all this?
So they actually have a giant breakdown part with a sort of
This is actually really cool.
they do it in a big
Give me the
sort of,
clicky one. I want the
text-
clicky one.
text messaging system type thing. So they'll have the story. you'll there's usually two options that have no effect on the story, but you're like, oh, that's cool. Okay.
I'm just going to click this into the microphone because it sounds good. Oh no, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong clicky
Yeah.
one. Where's the other clicky one? I want the other one. This one's a turn. And
This
flip
one's
back.
my favorite.
The crank. Do the crank.
That's cool. What's actually making that tick?
Just a piece of cardboard that I've flipped down here, like
So
for the
good.
video viewers. Yeah,
Yeah. So
and it's
instruction.
shaped like a guitar on the crank. It's really weird.
Yeah, it is.
It's like everything's super step by step, and like show you like here is the step. You can then stop and examine it from any angle because it's all 3D modeled and everything. But then there's also explanation. What you're saying of how something works.
After you finish the main building part, there's a third section called Discover, and so you click that. It'll open up a little. It's like a text messaging system. So each character will say a line, and like as if you were watching people in a group chat. So there's some really very punny names. So there's plays a lot of games. Learn a lottie.
Yeah, that's all learn a lot. Yeah.
I can't remember the main guy's name. That's just silly and fun. So yeah, what else? The vibrator races are really cool. They're very noisy though.
Do they
but-
call them vibrator races in the thing?
No.
Because that seems to have some other connotation.
So how does this one?
I had
it's
some
the-
vibrator races in my early 20s. And
It's the little spikes on the bottom of it. So it's got a little tail. Has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know where I put it, but you can build a little antenna for your Switch. So it just slots in the Joy-Con slots and has a little antenna on it, which is just
That's
it's
cute.
just for looks,
So-
isn't it? That's
Yeah.
just a thing. Yeah.
So is this one of the programmable ones?
They're all
they're all
programmable.
programmable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that just, if you've ever seen a toothbrush racer, where you just put a little motor on a toothbrush and it wiggles along, but because this is the way they've designed it this way, you can actually turn it.
Ah, cool.
Yeah.
So you've got the vibrators on either side that will then
Yeah.
encourage it to go
So
different
this
ways.
has two
Joy-Cons on each
in it.
side.
Ah,
This is
okay,
on the
got
You
it.
can attach, there's two pieces included for little attachments onto the front of the vehicle. So there's a digger for which is what I've got attached to this one, and then the other one I didn't bring was an elephant. They just sort of help if you're doing sort of a sumo battle. It'll sort of push them upwards and have you win.
If you're doing a sumo battle, do you need 4 controllers for that?
No, you use the Switch's screen and it's all touch controls. So
But don't you want 2 controllers on each of the cardboard
yes,
things?
you do that. Yeah, I forgot I had Sam over for this one.
Oh, so you had the
yeah.
other, yeah.
Good,
so I wasn't
good.
sure how I did it.
Good.
So yeah, the house is also really cool.
So what kind of stuff can you do with the house?
I haven't actually played with it yet.
I can tell you what's in it.
What is it?
A little man lives in the house.
Aw.
And you fuck with him.
Oh,
So all these little things and everything, like there'll be things happening in the game, and I don't know any examples in my head, but he'll be doing something, so you put this in and you can switch something on and stuff like that.
Ah,
And it's like
okay.
a real functional, it's like a real Tamagotchi where you like mess around with the
okay.
character
Yeah.
inside. And you're like doing mini games, right? Like
Yeah.
you're not
Yeah.
actually tormenting
yeah,
him.
because I can see this little
This is my-
reflectors
Yes, those
on these here.
they're like the reflecty tape that you put
Yeah.
on bikes
IR
and
tape.
stuff.
Okay.
And so you stick them in the sides of the house.
Yep.
So there's little big window cutouts, as they call them, and there's one on the bottom of the house. And yeah,
And then
the little Joy-Con at the top.
the Joy-Con
it's
at the
got
top, which has the IR.
Oh,
camera in
okay.
it,
So then
and
I
it
can
just
see
sees
there's
how
little
things
reflectors, so
move.
it knows when I'm
Yeah.
doing this.
The really cool thing about
assume this one's-
the little races
Yeah,
is
so
you
it gets
can,
the rotation. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
the racer one, you can combine it with something hanging in front of it, and you can sort of drag it, put it on at the front of the thingy, and it'll follow it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll track it with the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
That was really cool.
I've seen the programming system sort of in action now, and if you
I haven't done too much with it, but
have you done anything with it?
just mostly playing around the races. I didn't really get anything new with it
that's-
though.
I mean, yeah, you can like the very simple things. You can just say, okay, take this input. I'm going when I push this button, play a cow sound effect.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
it can
yeah.
just be that. So it's just like input, output.
Yeah.
Put a line between them.
Yeah.
And then obviously you can build it up into more complexity.
Yeah.
And so people have been playing around with a lot.
I'm guessing they'll do some pretty crazy stuff.
Someone's
with it.
made a clock with it as well.
I am very much looking forward to what people do with the fully programmable HD Rumble vibrators. There's going to be some really interesting. Porter Res is obviously what I'm talking
Yes,
about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I am expecting there's going to be some pretty cool homebrew stuff.
Yeah,
with this.
I haven't actually looked too much into it, but it's really, really cool.
It'll be interesting because one of the things, because when people were trying to pitch me to actually buy it, which I did not do, because like I want to play with it, but I also know I'll just sort of build it, play with it for a little bit, and then I'll be done.
Yeah.
Which is why I was fine getting it for Amy, because I'm like, oh well, I'm sure I can touch it, and
Yeah.
and she can have she can tell me the fun stories.
Yeah.
We're buying it for Amy, but really buying it for
Buying
Yeah.
it for ourselves,
Yeah.
by the way. Yeah.
That's
but,
fine.
You know, people say it's like, but you can bake all these things, Paul. It's like, yeah, but I could also go get an Arduino or
Yeah.
anything like
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
and I haven't, and it's not because I'm not interested. It's because I don't have the drive or the time to do that sort of stuff. But I do think it fits in it. It's certainly more accessible to kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it is more accessible to those people that don't really want to get into that hardware layer of
Yeah.
things.
The
'Cause
instruction manual is amazing. So you're able to sort of drag around. Reminds me, when I was younger, I really enjoyed doing papercraft Pokemon.
Yeah.
And there was this
Okay,
program
yeah.
called Pepakura, I think. So that allows you to open up the 3D model, go around, click individual faces, and you can see how they attach to each other. It reminded me of that, but with like fun little prompts, like, oh, you do this and that. Did you remember to do this?
I did not.
They they warm you up by building a little Joy-Con holder, and I thought that was really
Oh,
cool.
so this is actually just a...
Joy-Con holder.
That's all it does.
It doesn't really do anything. It's just to warm you up and
Is
figure
it-
out how
Are
to
you
do it.
having trouble holding your Joy-Con?
Yeah.
Well, make this cardboard to hold your Joy-Con
It says
while you
Labo
hold
on
it.
it.
I like how easy you can destruct it.
Yeah.
As well. Like, I like that I can kind of pick that up and like, I want to see how it works a little bit, so I'm going to... Because there's no glue or anything
So,
here.
No.
so there was some back and forth when they first announced Labo, but once they did come out, Nintendo did publish all the plans online.
Okay.
Not that I really think it helps, because I think actually having to cut this shit out would be way harder
Yeah.
than people like getting good cardboard for it and cutting it out so that it's solid and you have.
I'm waiting for aftermarket, like,
Yes.
sheet metal. Like,
Oh yeah,
Well,
and that
like
could happen.
tin or
Even
something
just
like that.
a laser cut wood thing.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
you're
but,
right. Yeah.
but when you're doing a laser cut wood thing, all these things that you fold, you
Oh,
would then
yeah,
have to
but
make separate
there's-
pieces and then
yeah.
put like
Yeah.
hinges or you have to put some sort
But
of
that would
support
be
in
really
there.
cool as
Yeah,
well.
it'd be lovely. Yeah, you could do some really nice things. But then also
And it
they
smells like
are
wood.
they are selling like the little bits into it. Like you can
Yeah.
like, oh, I broke my fishing rod. I need to get another pack,
Ah,
and all
okay.
that stuff's pretty affordable.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Have you-
I think you just have to get straight from Nintendo.
Have you broken anything yet?
Nope. It's pretty durable.
Yeah.
Like, apart from the little races, I've built the house on my bed, so it hasn't really been.
Are you going to decorate the house?
Yes.
What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to paint it different colors. The house also comes with a different bit on a extra sheet that has shingles on it. So I'm gonna might change that out.
You got to learn some housing, some roofing techniques. That's actually what they're trying to do. They're trying to train up a new generation of carpenters and roofers and such.
It's a lot
I'm
of
going to
fun.
get a new facade kit.
I started that sentence as a joke, and as I'm finishing it, I'm going like,
Well, that's a good idea.
actually, we're getting people into physical construction and
Yeah.
understanding how stuff
Yeah.
goes
Well,
together.
that's one of the things I like about this is that it's like I've always liked it when you can open up and have a look inside of how everything's
Yeah.
working, and you can see that its physics is just actually just a bunch of stuff, springs and levers and things like
It's
that.
like the robot pack, which
Yeah.
I've heard pretty negative things about.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, because the game's not particularly good. It's not made for adult size. I mean,
okay.
not as a go. It probably would fit on you, but I don't think it would fit on James or I. Certainly not on I.
Yeah.
But but that thing is, the game is 90% building it.
Yeah.
And understanding it. The game itself at the end is just kind of like something to celebrate it with.
Yeah.
Same with it, like there's still some cool stuff that people do with it and everything. But as you're saying, the game is building.
Yes.
It's like, and it's not the cost. Is it? When people are saying like it's really expensive, it's like cardboard's not that expensive. Like it's a ripoff, but it's not about the physical cost of cardboard. It's about the experience and the designs they've done
Yeah.
to create it, and then the steps that take you through to let a young child be able to put it together and enjoy it, and be able to work with their parents to do it, and then actually get some understanding and learning while they're doing it, by having
It's
all
a
these different
bonding
concepts.
thing.
It really is. If I had kids, I would
would
play
be
this with them,
fantastic.
and then I'd tell them, "Don't fucking touch Daddy's Labo. You will watch me put this together."
Yes.
And then whenever I fucked up a piece, I said, "Jimmy did
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy."
Michael was told not to buy one because it's not for him.
Aw.
He has quite big shoulders, that guy.
Oh, the robot.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I also hear the game shit.
Yeah.
But the but yeah, I mean, it's still cool. I want to
Yeah.
play with the mechanism and everything.
Well,
It seems fun.
I think especially having something like this aimed at kids, where we live in a world where we have an increasing number of black boxes.
Yeah.
That you give a kid a phone and I don't understand what's going on inside that thing.
Yeah.
But this is great because this is like you can actually see all the mechanisms and everything
you can
going
pull it
inside,
apart.
and you got an appreciation for like what mechanical engineering is. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. It wasn't a huge seller. It like people thought it was going to sell out and did not.
No.
But it's still like on the charts for most places.
Yeah, well, and let's see come Christmas what happens.
It's sold well, but that kind of made sense to me because it's not people that go out and buy God of War day one like you and I. Where Labo's not for us. It's for birthdays and Christmas and things like that. So hopefully it has long legs as long as it can stay in the public.
Oh yeah,
zeitgeist.
I could definitely see it's the kind of thing when Grandma asks, "What can I get little Jimmy for his birthday?"
Grandma's not going to buy a fucking Labo.
Oh, if you've got a good grandma.
Yeah, we've got good grandmas.
Have you met my grandma?
No, good grandma.
Yeah, exactly. That's why my grandma's not.
I got $10 for Christmas and birthdays from my grandma. That was nice.
You had a cheap grandma.
She listens.
She's dead. She's probably behind us.
No. When you're dead, that's the end. Just in a hole in the ground. Zip, nothingness.
Good old Oblivion.
I live next to a graveyard. If there were ghosts, I'd know it. Shut up, ghosts. I'm making a point. Oh, man. Got some good ghosts over there.
Yeah.
It's so quiet.
You got very, very polite ghosts next door to you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Did you? And the good thing is our graveyard is basically used for nothing except for like Anzac Day.
Yeah.
Of which apparently this last Anzac Day, the number was like 2,000 people were there.
What?
Didn't even know.
I think that's great.
Because they're all quiet and polite because it's fucking Anzac Day.
Yeah.
So
They're the kind of people who are getting up for a dawn service for Anzac Day. They're going to be polite.
like they were parked all outside our house. So I did end up seeing a bunch of people, but they weren't talking, weren't anything. Like I popped my head out when they were like doing last post. I didn't realize there were 2,000 people around the last post. Anyway, graveyards. I recommend living next to them.
Yeah.
But not living in them.
No.
Too spooky for me. Any other thoughts about Labo, Amy?
It's great. Yeah.
It's actually cardboard.
Hopefully they do like additional content packs and things
Yes,
like
I
that.
really want that.
They've
They've
the
got
base
1 and
thing.
2. Maybe there might be a 3.
Well, there's things we've seen that haven't been released.
Yeah.
So there's at least plans there. I guess they'll change on how it's selling and what's going around. But I mean, the fact that you can program it, I think that's a big long legs on there for people that are interested. And
I've just never seen it before.
I just reckon like as a kid being able to like you could make the remote that makes like, I don't know if you can record sounds, but if you could, they'd definitely make a fart sound.
Yeah.
And then they'd hide the switch underneath someone.
Yeah. Just use that sound. That one you just made there.
Yeah.
Nintendo, you can have it.
Nice
you can
and
have
squelchy.
that sound.
As we all know, fart sounds are worthless.
No.
Okay, so shall we move on?
I bought a Pikachu 2DS.
Oh,
I
you
love
did.
It. It's
You did. Is that the one with the little face, the little embossed face on it?
Yes, I was so surprised because I didn't expect its nose to be sort of a ridge.
Because I've got the Metroid like special edition 3DS XL, and I really like it.
Yeah,
like it's like the
does
colors.
it have any embossing or anything?
No
on it?
embossing, but I just think it's a pretty console.
It is a pretty console.
And I was looking at that 2DS because I really love the design of the 2DS, and it
I've
looks
been
real pretty.
eyeing off the black and blue one since it came out. It's
even
so
just
nice.
the standard ones with a nice little like border around the edge.
That's
Like it's a really
it. Yeah.
yeah.
And then the Pikachu game went out. And I've been eyeing it off since it came out, and then they had one in Brisbane.
So do you immediately appreciate the bigger screen? Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And it's not shiny either, so it's not getting my fingerprints all over it.
What I love about the big screen on like the XL and the 2DS and everything is just like the way that since the resolution doesn't increase, like they're just really big chunky
Oh
pixels.
yeah, you're looking through the screen door.
Oh, it's beautiful.
I just wish that. I love how facetious you are.
Yeah.
I actually. I just wish they ditched the 3D from the beginning and just had more pixels, double your
I
resolution.
mean, there's no point in me having it because most of the games I do play don't have the 3D option. It does look amazing on platformers though. But
yeah,
that's
because
the only
when
thing.
I was last using my 3DS, it was for Metroid. Yeah, Samus Returns.
You know, pixelated platformers.
And the 3D was great in that. Like just having that clear separation.
Yes.
But generally speaking, it's something I can live
in
without.
Pokemon, they completely ditched it.
Well, yeah, they just don't even like.
No.
I don't think is there any 3D in Pokemon. I think there might be a little bit.
In X, they had quite a bit of 3D everywhere, but even in the later ones,
think they just turned
the
it
above
off.
world stuff, there was nothing. I
Yeah.
think there was a tiny bit in Pokemon battles.
From what I remember of X is that in some of the battles it would just drop to like 3 frames a second because
Yeah.
3D is so hard.
That's another reason I wanted to upgrade so I could get back into playing Ultra Moon because
Oh, that's right, you
slowdowns
bought-
just frustrated me.
You bought that a while ago.
Yeah, I will finish it
Yeah.
eventually.
Sure did spend $60 on that game you already own.
Yeah, I still own it. I'm gonna play it.
Twice.
No,
You had the base version, right?
there's no base version.
non-ultra.
The non-ultra.
Oh,
I mean.
that's
what I
a
mean.
game before. It's
But it's the same game with a little bit. Okay.
New story.
okay. I
New
thought
story.
it was the same game. I take it back then.
new story.
All right.
Is it a new story?
Yes, Sam said it is, so I'm gonna trust that opinion. I was getting annoyed.
Well, in this
because-
one, they wear pineapples on their heads instead of fig trees. It's very different.
Yes, Paul.
And they flip the map, so instead of going left, you have to go right.
And the Machop, it's brown.
the Pikachu says, Pika you.
Oh, that is a new game.
Fuck the Pokemon games. Jesus.
Oh,
You know when
go
people,
away, old man.
when people criticize Nintendo for always making the same game over and over again, I'm like, no, they don't. You don't fucking even understand. And then I go like, except for Pokemon,
Yeah.
because fuck Pokemon.
You're old men. Leave
I
me
am.
alone.
I mean, I'm not saying that they don't change anything. I'm just saying they don't change very much.
Yeah, I still enjoy it.
Exactly. People. That's why people they know what they
Keeps-
want and it
keeps
keeps them in there.
Printing them dollars.
And what I love is that how the small changes still cause so much anger.
That's just stupid people.
And I'm just
I'm pretty sure they got progressively better at their online stuff, though. That's probably where there's been the most growth.
With the DS, I didn't really try it with the original DS. I wasn't able to do that because my internet wasn't, substandard WEP connection.
Oh, okay. So you wouldn't actually connect to it.
No. But it's quite good. The Wonder Trade is amazing. You just stick in a Pokemon and then it'll spit out another one
Yeah.
from someone in Japan, for example. I like that.
Is this a news
It's the
bulletin?
news hour.
A news
coming on
bulletin.
in the most exciting news for nobody of the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
There's a new Doom movie apparently being made.
Okay.
Okay, cross that off.
Sure. Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Pew pews.
In the last most important news of the last 2 weeks for some people, especially the employees of Campo Santo, Campo Santo have been acquired by Valve.
Yeah. Well, it's going
in
to be
a very interesting
Yeah, because
position.
whenever Valve acquires someone, it's normally someone with a good core idea that needs to be well executed. But they're already well executed.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So basically, Half-Life 3 will be a walking
So
simulator.
basically,
Confirmed.
in this instance, it's
Oh, yeah, they were the Firewatch guys. Yeah.
Campo Santo had a nice game that Valve wanted to put their name on because they need to release games again.
Yeah.
It will be interesting because, sort of the flaw in Firewatch is that if you know anything about production, which a lot of people don't, but by playing that game very quickly, it becomes obvious that their budget is limited. And so certain things just aren't possible. You are not going to see animated characters in that game because...
Well, they mastered their limitations.
Yeah, they know. But it's like if you are at least conscious of that, you know that there are limitations based on that. When you are owned by Valve...
Well, those are gone.
Yes. I mean, already their new game has a very high detailed animated character on the screen at all times.
Yeah.
Which is already like 10 times the original fucking budget. It's like, okay. And now you're owned by the company that makes money.
Yeah.
Like, I literally think that they might have got into currency development and they make all the cool holograms and stuff. Like, they are the masters of owning money.
Yes.
So, what can happen in... I can't remember that. What's it called? I know that in the Kings, something... Valley of the Kings. It's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have no idea what the
Valley of the
limitations-
Gods?
Might be gods.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's Valley of something.
Yeah.
Valley of the Slimes.
It could literally fucking do anything. You
Yeah.
could walk outside of a pyramid and then suddenly it unfolds brick by brick into a giant mech
Yeah.
and tears the world apart. Now,
like that.
I don't expect that's going to happen.
But spoilers.
But it could. Because they suddenly have all of the money.
But this can go the other way. Like those constraints can be what makes great art.
Yes.
And then as soon as you take that away, those constraints.
I think
We'll see.
in this case, the game is already designed and developed, so I'm not
Yeah.
expecting anything wild in it. But what it does give them a huge safety net.
Yeah.
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 And then we'll see what they do afterwards. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, this is still going to be 2 more years of work or whatever.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I would love if we had something the same caliber of Portal, where they picked up I can never remember the name of the original game, Terran Drop or whatever it was.
Nambacula Drop.
Nambacula Drop, yeah, where they picked up that team. I think they were like a student team or something. They picked them up and then just made an amazing game. Just with
Narbacula, actually.
with Valve's resources and know-how. When you have a team which already has the know-how, hopefully you can end up something pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, because Campo Santo are mostly ex-Telltale, and they left after Walking Dead and everything. So they, they're old. Half of them are old ex-gaming journalists that bloody still do Idle Thumbs the podcast, but not as much anymore. Yeah, so I mean, they've been around, but a lot of Valve's narrative people left. So maybe they're getting in a bunch of narrative people.
I don't know if there's much for that team to do anymore.
Well, that was the thing. But Gabe has at least been putting out a lot of talk about how they are going back into games.
Okay.
And not just...
So Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Sure.
Oh, man. The day it happens.
I hope it's free. I hope they just go, look, here you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, with a big sorry.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Just, there you go.
And then as you fire a bullet, you notice that your Steam account goes down 1 cent. Like, what?
Making money.
Oh yeah. Okay. So that was a big and surprising one.
Yes.
So they're all relocating to Seattle from San Fran.
Yeah.
Apparently they want to get out of San Fran because San Fran is an expensive hole.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I've been in Seattle once.
Yeah.
It seemed like a nice city. It actually reminded me a bit of Brisbane, where it was just a bit more chilled.
I heard something about Seattle actually had a major change because of Frasier.
Oh, really?
Because Frasier classed the fucking joint up a little bit,
and
it actually changed some of the culture, which was kind of interesting.
Lots of homeless people there, which I think is because the city's nice. And so they're just, I don't know. When I was there, I was like, this was like 10 years ago. It's probably very different now, but yeah, no, it seemed like a nice
They
place.
got to Starbucks since then. Okay, continuing. Sort of in the same sort of realm. Actually, that's a big stretch, just because Double Fine's in San Fran. Rhombus of Ruin, which was only on PS VR before, is now available on Steam.
It's on Steam right now.
Yep. I would like to play that. Ben Brody, or Brode, I've never heard his name said aloud, so I'm guessing Brody, but it might be just Brode, has left Blizzard. He was in charge of Hearthstone. He's been there for a good 10, 12 years or so. He's gone on to do other things.
Yeah, you don't often get people leaving Blizzard. But, 10 years is a long time.
Quite a lot of people leave, like big people leave in the last couple of years. But I always just assume when you're being in a big company culture that long is,
Stressful.
And I'm sure you've established yourself to a degree where you might... I mean, my long thing of Blizzard, which is less relevant these days, but still a bit relevant, is that being so big, they are adverse to risk. And you might want to go out and try something a bit radical.
I think they actually do quite a lot of risk internally, but a lot of stuff's killed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's a few developers like that who are talking, it's even just Riot Games recently, like they've killed five times more projects than they've ever released. It's like, I'm sure Blizzard is very much the same.
The secret is to see it through to completion because you've started investing.
I mean, it must be nice to be able to just work on something for a few years and say like, off you go. Instead of just forcing it out and just make it work. As long as it doesn't crash, just let it out. Okay, I had Xbox One had a new update, which was doing a few things that were interesting. Low latency mode with FreeSync support.
That's cool. That's actually because I've got G-Sync on my monitor at home. I fucking love it.
Yeah, it goes up to it does 120 megahertz.
That's cool.
Support as well. Which if you got a TV that supports it,
if you can get 120 frames a second, then have it.
Yeah, well, at least a refresh rate on it. Because they can be not tied together the same way.
Yeah. Well, that's the point of FreeSync.
Good fun. Okay, so current president of Nintendo, Kimishima, is retiring. And Shintaro Furukawa is coming in.
Okay, so they
and
announced
I am not versed enough in what he's done.
No, I have no idea.
He's quite young. He's in his 40s.
Okay.
So, but apparently that's part of the push there. They've said for a while now that they, we have our Miyamotos and we had our Iwatas and everything.
So they want some young blood coming through.
Yeah, it's like the old guard, while still being around, needs to let people that understand the current market actually come in and have some creative control.
And also, they'll be dead eventually.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
How uplifting.
Well, we're all just marching towards the grave, Amy.
Yep.
It's about 40 minutes that way.
Yep.
So yes, that is it. Shadow of the Tomb Raider has been revealed. It is the next Tomb Raider game.
It is, and it's more jungly. It's very jungly.
I've only read a little bit, and I haven't seen enough to make me go like, "Wow, that seems new."
It's
seems
Tomb
like
Raider.
seems like more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, God of War is a little bit the same sort of structure as the modern Tomb Raiders.
Yeah, I thought that a lot actually when I was playing it. But
So more arena fights.
But I hadn't played God of War in a Tomb Raider structure.
I didn't talk about arena fights.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, just wait.
You want to get back to it? All right, we'll do it later in the
I
show.
accidentally wrote COD of War, but
No, keep it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fishy game. They had that Dog of War promotion for God of War. Did you see that? The marketing, there was the joke with the Sony marketing that the company that got to do it accidentally thought it was Dog of War. And so they just like made a little Kratos costume for a dog and he's just running around and it's cute.
That's
It's
amazing.
it's one of those things like, yes, this concept doesn't make any sense because it's still Kratos and still doing all things, but it's cute. It's a little puppy.
They had a Overwatch tournament with dogs instead of Overwatch characters.
Were the dogs playing the game?
Oh no, they were actually the characters in the game.
So just wait. So what? Was this just like they dressed them up in real life, or someone went through and modeled?
No.
dogs
Real
for the
dogs dressed up as the characters, and I think they had to carry a ball from somewhere to somewhere.
I can be down with that. That's
Yeah.
like the puppy bowl. I'll be down with that.
Puppy watch.
Because why not?
Hell, I'm finally interested in the first one. Shenmue 1 and 2 are being re-released on modern consoles, and they're basically packing everything into it. There's no real updates to it. It just has everything that's previously been available in different versions, which means basically the major one is that I think it's the Xbox versions that were made, and they have both English and Japanese voice packages with them. Otherwise, they're the same games.
Yeah.
Games that probably, I'm going to say it here, probably don't hold up very well.
I'm going to ask about So Many Sailors.
I mean, I loved them when they came out, but
Yeah.
man, I don't
But
really
Paul,
want to go back.
You can go collect capsules.
I just
and
remember,
you can Paul, you can open all the cupboards.
Well, I was just thinking about the cupboards, like how
Yeah.
amazing it was to open cupboards, because I mean that kind of interaction never happens in a game. But I don't remember anything ever mattering.
No,
from
the
opening
doors
cupboards.
just opened and there were things inside. I don't even know if you could pick them up. It might have just
I think
been
a lot
like,
of objects you could pick up and then just rotate in your
yeah,
hand.
maybe like you could look at the like a can and then put it back, and that was it.
Yeah,
and
and
you
like that novelty is so far gone from being interesting.
Yeah, I mean, back in that would have been 2000, somewhere around there. Like that would have been amazing back then.
Yeah,
Yeah, not so much now.
yeah.
Spyro's coming out later this year.
Yes, as you
Yeah,
mentioned
it is.
every show. The pre-orders apparently have been off the chart. I can't even say Kimosabi anymore. fuck my life. I'm going to throw this mic away.
Oh, he did it. Oh, okay, it's James and
Yay!
Paul needs some attention. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. Please, daddy, please, daddy, please, daddy, look at me.
So close.
It's all about Dusty.
So close.
All about Paul and Dusty.
Oh man, this was some Steam news. I should have
Yeah.
put it with Valve before. Now, in the most important news of 2 weeks for me, and not really, but just like, wow, that's cool. So you know how we say like Valve buys up companies, and so one of the companies they bought up was the company that made Alien Swarm, which they then released, but they released it for free because they didn't really think it was up to snuff, because they bought that company mainly for the way that it tracked data, which then went into all of Steam stuff, all of Valve's stuff. It was, it's very impressive. It was co-op, top-down shooter, like Alien.
It's fine.
It was cool. Yeah, I really liked it. It just got a fucking update. They keep updating it. Like this game, which was what now, 6 years old or something?
Oh, I reckon longer.
Which never really got popular. Is still getting fucking updated. So Valve's got that long tail.
If they can fix the problem I had with that, where if like a critical person died, it basically became impossible to do. That's what I remember the main sticking point with me with that game was. If they can fix that, it's actually a really fun top-down shooter.
Yeah.
It's basically Left 4 Dead, but top-down shooter with aliens.
Yeah. Okay, so the Switch is totally fucked.
Oh, why so?
Because they discovered an exploit in the Tegra chip.
Dun, dun, dun.
So it's a boot level exploit.
Nothing
which
they can do.
No.
It's hardware based, can never be patched.
No.
Oh, well.
I'm excited anyway.
So it doesn't just affect Switch, it affects anything running that chip.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
So they let people know when there's different, and it's not publicly available, but it will be eventually.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm excited for homebrew.
Could be.
Maybe.
So if you have a Switch now, you can probably hack it one day.
Yeah.
But
Woo!
keep your original hacked and keep your
Well, it's
buy when they do the re-release.
yeah.
with the,
Well, that's
with the
actually.
screen and
I was actually
everything.
just thinking that, like,
With the second
when we get
screen.
our new Switch,
new Switch,
new Switch, I'll buy that and just keep this bad
It's just
boy
a giant DS.
for playing old SNES games and Scum VM.
Yeah.
And that I'll never actually
Piracy.
Pirate.
You piece of
Oh.
shit. You fucking piece of shit.
I was
Jim.
staying away from piracy.
Nintendo needs that money to
They
buy
need
Mario hats.
And more Labo.
What are we going to do with Labo and the hacked ones? Anything we want. We can build our own Labo with blackjack and hookers. Yeah, so that'll be interesting to see how that comes apart. I mean, there are a lot of Switches out there.
Yeah.
Was it the last count? Like,
Couple
might
million?
be completely right. I thought 12 million was the number in my head. But
A few.
yeah, it's selling real well. But yes, so hopefully, I mean, I think the exploit might have been known for a little while, and there's already hardware revisions in the pipeline. But that still all takes time. And you don't want third parties running away because they're worried about getting pirated. You don't want a Dreamcast situation or anything.
I'm still frustrated that I think with one of the latest updates, the third-party docks brick switches.
They can do, yes.
Yeah.
That is, we talked about it on the show a few weeks ago.
Oh, did we?
because
Okay.
It's because the Switch isn't actually USB-C compliant. It does its own shit. So it overdraws power.
Yeah.
And if the things haven't actually been constructed to their standards, which are proprietary technology,
Okay.
then
You
fuck
can
things up.
blow it up.
Yeah, which is real dangerous. Real dangerous.
Michael says Switch U is the new one.
God, that would just and if that wasn't a new console, if that was an update of a console,
Oh, yeah.
that just fucking blows everything apart, and nobody knows what anything is anymore. Cats and dogs are marrying. Hamburgers are eating people. We're through the looking glass
Hamburgers.
now. Okay.
Would they do it? Would they do it?
No. Come on, they would have learned. Come on.
Would they, Amy?
Yes.
Would they? Look,
I trust Nintendo.
Every second generation, they gotta fuck it up.
Yeah.
So they've done well this time. How are they gonna fuck it up next time?
Switch you.
What was it called? That VR headset from ages ago?
No, Michael called it the Switched with 3DS at the end. They're gonna put 3D into the Switch. Oh god, that'd be so good. That'd be
They have the patent.
and be amazing. Just what we need.
It's just going to be like a Switch, but it goes into a Virtual Boy dock.
That's what it was called, the Virtual Boy.
Yeah, it's going to be like that old Metal Gear Acid. You know how they had like the...
Oh,
the-
yeah,
the-
that-
we've already got... This is what they're working towards, Paul.
Google
Metal
Cardboard.
Gear Acid. They've got the cardboard which put the thing down the center of the screen, so you could play... you could play Metal Gear Acid with a thing on your face in 3D. They've got the
But
tech
without
here.
lenses.
They have their cardboard.
Yeah.
Without lenses.
You get
So
some
it's
red
happening.
and blue glasses.
We're going to have Virtual Boy, which is going to be made out of cardboard that your Switch goes into, split down the middle. We got 3D. Full circle. Called it.
Or maybe it just kills your dog.
Why?
Oh, I bought the use of the Switch too. You just open up that and suddenly my dog's there. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Oh, we know, like, it's not what our consumers want, but we know this is the future of games. Just piles of dead dogs. I'm just like, I'm real sad, but Nintendo, you've gone with you this far.
Poor doggies.
Yeah, okay.
Enough dog murder.
So, in the most important news of the last 2 weeks for a lot of people, there was a new trailer for Red Dead 2.
Yes.
Showed more story about the old gang that Red Dead 1 man was in.
Yep.
Well, Red Dead Redemption 1 man. is-
Marsden. What's his name?
Marsden,
John Marsden. Someone in
yeah.
the chat will say. Well, I've got
Some pew pew guy.
I've got Red Dead Redemption 1 sitting at home. I feel like I should play through that before getting into Red Dead 2.
Wasn't like the main guy you were chasing in the first game called Bill Williamson? What a stupid fucking name. William Williamson.
Oh,
Jesus H. Christ.
Oh, you're right. That is terrible. I didn't actually put that together. I don't know if that actually was the name.
Someone else was talking about it during the week. I'm like, yeah, that's true. Anyway,
We've also had more people join the chat because someone wrote the line, they could have filled both holes.
Oh, no.
And that popped up on someone's desktop. And then someone else joined.
oh, but what was filling both holes? I don't even know what you're referring to. You're talking. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. With the Switch, a Switch that could fill both holes would be mwah, delicious. No, see, that's the problem. You said the next one they've got to fuck up. So in 2 versions, that's when they
That's
fill
when they
both
come
holes.
back. That's when they come back.
It's like Nintendo's investing heavily in teledildonics.
Oh, they went and bought them.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've already seen the Pokemon butt plugs.
Yeah.
I just
Brisbane
don't
made.
see cardboard
Bris-
ones working very well.
No, that sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cardboard sex toys need a lot of lubricant. That is for sure.
And they sort of break after, like, mid-use, they break.
You just have to be faster. So anyway, Red Dead 2 trailer.
Yes, back to
I
that.
guess, but the thing is, I actually have nothing to say. These trailers do absolutely nothing for me, and I don't know what they really do for anyone. Because the arguments I've heard is that, of course, they're not showing gameplay because Rockstar basically never do that anyway. They don't really show anything of the game. They were showing mood things, and it's exciting the people that just want to know it's coming. There's people already excited.
I think
Save the resources.
Yeah,
Don't bother making the fucking trailer.
I like looking at it. It's something like I'm already know I'm going to get it. It's nice to see.
I just want to
hint.
hint. I just want to hint. But I mean, it's one of those things. I look
They
at
could
it.
just give me vistas and I'd be happy.
I look at it and I'm not impressed.
Well,
which is
it's about what I expected.
it's a harsh thing for me to say because it's a fucking incredible technical achievement.
Yeah.
Like don't get my hubris wrong here. Like I understand this, but at the same time, it also looks like what I expect that to look like.
Yeah.
So I don't look at it and go like, "Holy fuck, what is this?" This is it's like. Yeah, that's what I expect a modern Rockstar game to look like in the West. Yep.
What would have interested me a bit more if there was a little bit about whatever the online stuff's going to be, because I'm kind of expecting, given the piles of money that GTA Online makes, that's going to have to be part of this. Like, I assume there'll be a Battlegrounds mode. I'd be surprised if there wasn't.
It is my greatest fear and worry about the game to know what the
online's going to be. Yeah,
because there has been talk about it being very, very natural between single player and multiplayer being mixed.
Because I jumped into GTA Online actually just last night, and I was like, I'll just because I know it prints money. Let me have another look at it, and it is so impenetrable.
Yeah, I don't get it. At
I got
all.
it. I quit like very quickly. I had no idea what's going on. So for me, what I would have liked to hear is like more about that. But they don't need to. I guess they can just hold off, and when it comes out, probably like a month out, we'll find more. Because it's September, isn't it? I think it's somewhere around
September,
there.
October, it comes out.
Somewhere around there.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I'll get it, even if I like it or not. I'll end up getting it because I've got to be part of the conversation, don't I?
No.
I mean, I'm a whore for that.
Yeah.
You
It's
are.
like, why did I like God of War?
What
I didn't like any of the other
about
ones.
Polly?
What about what?
What about Paulie?
Exactly. That's a reference to my dog.
Yeah.
Just for people that aren't us.
Yeah. It's like, what about Dusty?
Yeah. That's the only thing my dog Dusty can think about. What about me? Hey!
He's just outside.
And the
I
other
noticed
dog
there was-
is obsessed with Dusty, so he also just thinks, what about Dusty?
Poor
okay.
Toasty.
What else do we have? Valve and Switch news together. They've added native support for the Pro Controller from Switch to Steam, which is nice.
It's a nice controller.
And
I
then
want one.
a nice little preview. I don't have the date here. I couldn't find it just before the show. But event happening at E3, which I'm quite excited for, is a table reading of the script of Grim Fandango by the entire cast.
That's really cool.
Because it's the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're actually going to do the whole script.
I believe so.
Okay, that's going to be a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
They'll just
once you're doing the
mainline it, I
story,
guess.
it's like you don't need to have a conversation about the horse, the
No,
cat
I
races
want
and shit.
I want
You want all-
every
all
dialogue, every line of dialogue. All of it.
man.
Yeah, it's probably they condense that thing down to a couple of hours.
Oh yeah, I expect it. Like Grim Fandango is still. If I was going to encourage one game to become a movie,
Oh, 100%.
it is Grim Fandango.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is- That
There's nothing about that. It's got a 3-act structure. It has a great story.
that last sequence on the hill,
Yeah.
which that's as specific as I'll be because if people have never played Grim, they should.
Yes.
Is one of the most creative, thought out, like terrifyingly morbid, beautiful things I've ever seen in anything.
Yes.
That's like, and it, like, just thinking about what that setup is and what it means when you see it is horrifying and beautiful at the same time. It's great.
And yes, there was a HD remake just recently as well. Well, not recently.
Of Grim Fandango.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah,
It was on
someone was
everything.
just asking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not so much a remake. It really is just...
We
it's
got
like
it running on modern systems.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
money, and they allow the models to go at higher resolution.
Yeah.
I mean, it was on pretty much everything. I played through it again on PSP.
Yeah. I
And
think
it
was
also
on
has the
iOS. And,
the switch between original and new buttons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I think they had the original, because the backgrounds are all 3D rendered, but I think they might have still had the files, so they were able to render them at a higher resolution. I think.
and I think they still had
remember that.
options for tank controls if you
Yes,
wanted.
Yes.
yes. You could have.
And there's
tanking.
an achievement on the PC version if you play it through
Or play
like
through
that.
Tank.
Yeah.
It's really amazing that game is remembered as fondly as it is because the time it came out, that was a bad time for adventure games. That's when it was transitioning to 3D. No one really knew what they were doing. But somehow, like just through the writing and puzzle design, that thing came out the other side.
And well designed. It's
Yeah,
just like that.
yeah.
That all of the writing, just the internet stuff, that's the world building, and
Yeah.
then just the actual story itself.
Because you think that was the time we were
magnificent.
getting like King's Quest 8, Simon the Sorcerer 3D. Like, we'll get, you laugh. But it wasn't that really awkward time when people were trying to figure out how the hell do we get 3D into this genre.
Simon the Sorcerer 3D, I go back to it every few years.
Oh, yeah?
And it is abysmal.
Yes,
but
yes.
every time I come back to it,
Do you like it a little bit more?
there are more ideas in it that are good than I...
Honestly, I've never played it.
Oh, it's shocking.
I think I own it.
But the thing is, it's one of those things where, like, you could almost remake it with the same game design, but just a total world redesign, and it wouldn't be so terrible.
Don't make ticking sounds.
You're going to play with a noisy toy.
The other one's over there.
But yeah, Grim is... So I'm going to definitely be checking that out,
Yeah.
as well as all my normal E3 bullshit. Because I think it's... I think the thing had it being live streamed...
Oh, they're going to stream it.
Live streamed on Facebook
Cool.
Live, I
We'll
think.
keep- We'll keep you up
And
to
there'll
date.
probably be multi-stream on things, because people do. But
That's news?
I only have one other thing on the news, but it's not really news.
Yeah.
So I might leave it. We'll
Okay.
come back to it.
All right, I'm just
I
going to
guess.
tease it.
It's a thing. Okay, let's talk about another little game that James and I played, which is not a full game. It is a demo.
Yes.
And that demo is for Detroit. Become human.
I almost said too human, but that's a different game.
Become too human.
I am human.
Beep boop.
Boop bop.
I am John Human. Anyway, so there was a demo released on the PS4.
Yes.
For David Cage's new game.
Oh,
Detroit
so many
Become
feelings,
Human.
so many triangles.
So many triangles, so many crosses, so many
Yeah.
squares. So in this, you are playing, what is that, Connor? Is this
I
Connor, his
know,
name?
robot.
It's a hostage situation. You go up into the apartment. Robot has killed the parents in the family
Yeah.
that he worked, taken the young daughter hostage, and you're a robot hostage negotiator. So you've quickly got to analyze the scene, go out, and try to save the kid.
Mm-hmm.
And James, what were your impressions of Detroit?
Gorgeous.
Become Too Human
Gorgeous.
by David Cage.
By David Cage. Gorgeous. I really liked the environments. I think because the robot doesn't have to emote, they can get away with it.
My voice acting is very good.
I actually think they played that pretty well. I mean, it felt like I was playing a David Cage game for sure. The interactions with the environment felt fairly natural. Like I never felt confused by what the controls were. Like they communicated what the gestures on the sticks were quite well, all that kind of stuff. I played it through twice. Mm-hmm. I think you might have played it through a bit more than I did.
I think I played through the scenario 5 times.
Yeah. I enjoyed my time enough with it. It kind of walked away from it from like the performances were good, the facial capture was good. Like it was all fine. Like it was good was the word I'd use a lot for it.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
But
Good.
It was the kind of thing where I played it and finished the thing. I'm like, sure, but I'm not going to pay full price for that game. Like when I think about, like compared to say Until Dawn, which I think they're doing pretty similar things. Until Dawn, I can see this is a game where my choices are going to matter. There's going to be, I'm going to get like this basically this slasher flick out of it, and that's really what it's an interactive slasher flick. I understand what it is. Just from my experience with David Cage, when I play this, it's more David Cage. You always give me a really good first impression, and then by about halfway through, I hate you, and I don't see this thing doing anything different.
Jason.
Well, we've both started playing through Beyond Two Souls again.
Yeah, and it's been interesting comparing those two things,
Yeah.
and exactly how far visually things have come. Because I think Beyond Two Souls was close to launch. PS4 was it?
It's a PS3 game.
Oh, sorry, PS3 game.
Yeah, it
Oh,
got
Jesus.
an update on PS4.
Okay, well in that
but
case,
it's a PS3 game.
In that case, then what they did on that hardware is amazing.
Oh yeah, it's really really
Because I
together.
honestly thought it was just an early PS4 game. I didn't realize it was PS3. So you can see like there's a massive graphical leap between those. There's also a big leap in interactions. Like playing Beyond now, a lot of the times the controls, I don't really get it, like what I'm meant to be doing. I find like in Beyond,
I find them about the same amount of awkwardness, frankly.
I found them more awkward. I found like I was more confused in Beyond than I was in...
I think the fact that Cage is married to this idea of having the right stick control both the camera and interactions.
Oh yeah, that
It's like you can
screws me.
just be turning the camera and like,
suddenly
oh, now I
something
picked up a cup. What? Oh, but
Cat.
but the camera's not good enough
Yeah.
to not control the camera
Yeah.
manually. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I appreciated in Detroit how it communicates quite well how you're branching through the story. Like I liked that when I do something, it'd be like, chance of success would change. I'd say, oh, okay, I can actually see what I'm doing is kind of affecting things.
That chance of the success thing, I think that was mostly just a number. I don't think that really meant anything. Other than you having options that you'd already unlocked.
Yeah.
The same lines that you would deliver to the hostage taker.
Yeah.
What's the word for that?
I think he's just a negotiator. Oh, him.
The person that's taken the hostage, the bad robot,
the bad guy,
the bad robot,
the bad bot.
I got the same response from the same dialogue. So it's like if I got it to 100%, which you can do, and said like, maybe you should not try to kill the girl. He's like, I'm gonna kill the girl.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, apparently doesn't make a difference how high that number is.
I think so. I say like the first playthrough, I was like, okay, like that was fine, and it showed me the path at the end. I'm like, okay, cool. There's all these branches, and I kind of like that you could see how things would diverge and then go back, and there was actually there was honest about the way things could go. Like you could see all the choice through there. But then the game promoted me to go back and do it again, and that's where I had the real problem. Because there was no real good mechanisms in there to let me explore different chains, like different paths. Like there was no way to just scrub back time or anything like that. It was like, if you want to go down this path and try and find this ending, you go do the whole goddamn thing again.
That's what I find funny about the whole design. So you finish the playthrough, and I assume it'll work exactly the same as Beyond Two Souls and everything, where at the end of a chapter it says, these were your choices, blah, blah, blah. But in this one, they really split out the web. What could have happened? And this choice, and this choice, and this choice, and how they could have diverged, and showing you all the possible paths, but they just grayed out what it actually means until you've done it yourself. And what is the point of that? Because going back and replaying it isn't necessarily...
it's not fun.
It's not necessarily fun, and it's also meaningless to the story.
Yeah.
Like, you take a game like... I'm blanking on things today. I think we gave it Game of the Year or whatever. Bloody girl, teenagers.
Life is Strange.
Life is Strange.
Yeah.
Think that, like time rewinding things and doing it is not just the story. It's thematically what the game is about. This game isn't about redoing things and seeing different outcomes and everything. So the only reason they show it
is for you to go back and redo it and see different outcomes.
Is to show you how much work they did. It's like, see how much work we did?
Yeah.
There's like 20 fucking options in this scene. Isn't that amazing? But for your playthrough, if anything, it hurts your choices. Maybe it is useful knowing that there was other outcomes that you fucked up.
Yeah.
Maybe there is some value in that. But otherwise, it's more of a like, fuck, this is a lot of work. And people might not even realize we did all this work unless we point it out to them. But I don't think that helps the game.
Yeah.
And
Lauren suggested we go back to the Alone in the Dark DVD system.
Yes, exactly. Oh, man. I just started thinking about we'll skip Alone in the Dark. I have so many feelings about that series.
Alone in the Dark,
it's
amazing.
But what I want to say was that, so I played through the demo and I thought it was fine the first time I played it. And then I played it more and I exhausted it. And I'm like, okay, I sort of have seen everything, and none of it really is interesting. Like, at no point in that demo do they use the setup of this world of androids and humans to be really anything impactful. There's like a line of like, what does it matter if I kill them? Humans die anyway. I'm like, yeah, but so do you. Like, at the end of this fucking scene. Like, And then, because I hadn't really had any strong feelings about this game's setup yet. I've heard some people annoyed at it, but I wasn't really worried about it. Yeah, and a few people have been quite upset about the scene with child abuse in it. And I'm fine. Like, I'm not against things like that being part of the narrative.
Paul is not against child abuse.
I'm not against child abuse as a narrative device. I mean, exploit whoever you want. That's great fun. But it wasn't something that really... But then the usage of the android thing in this story, and then also some other things I was reading in some coverage, where in this world, on the bus, androids have to sit in the back.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's just like, this isn't racism.
It's botism.
By making it just racism and being so blatant about it, you ignore what the difference of this story is. To most of the world, these are fucking utensils. You want to do a back of the bus reference? You make them get on the fucking bike racks on the back. Yeah. Because they aren't people, they are things. Yeah. And that's how you do it. And yes, slavery, they treated them like things and everything, but I mean,
Paul, do you know how expensive it is to design new buses for these androids?
That's the thing. They should do it cheap as shit. They should have a bunch of poles. It's like, well, yeah, we put a hole in the middle of Android so you could just stack them on a rail. Like, they're not using the idea. Like, the whole thing, like, the thing is here is you've created life, not you've discovered life and claimed it as your own. And we won't get into the actual racism side, but equating it to racism both like makes that less important and also doesn't exploit what's interesting about your story. And as I'm playing through the demo, I'm like, this is fucking doing nothing except saying this person's an underclass person.
Are you saying that David Cage is kind of a terrible storyteller?
Yes, he's really bad. And I've never really got angry about it before. I mean, when you're a psychic girl and you're just dealing with like teen issues, and okay, yes, teenagers can be written really fucking stupid and it's a lot of hackneyed dialogue.
But that's what teenagers are.
But it's not. It's not demoting some of the most terrible shit of human history into like, isn't this a fun reference?
Yeah.
Just like that robot's Rosa Parks. No, it's not. It doesn't work like that. I mean, there's so many interesting things in sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just doing the robots are people, shouldn't we give them rights? Just sort of ignores the interesting side of it. We've also seen it a billion times, and it's kind of overdone now. That's why it's interesting Japan not really having the Frankenstein myth, because they don't have those stories very much. Like they do, there's still a little bit of it, but most of their things are like, no, they're fucking robots. What do you mean? We programmed them to do a thing.
Yeah, and yes, I think someone in chat made a good point. That this is also from a French studio.
Yes.
Oh.
And so it's almost like some weird cultural appropriation situation where I don't. Well, France does not have the same cultural background with slavery that the US has, so. It's almost like they're trying to
They've got their own special brand.
They have their own special brand of racism, but it's like they're making a comment on it without the actual kind of cultural knowledge to do it.
It's like A Way Out, but A Way Out it didn't matter because it was just about bad 60s prison movies. Yeah. This is about slavery.
Yeah, you gotta be real careful with
be
that.
real touchy about it. And like I love controversial content, but I like it with some good thought. And the more I see of this game, the more I'm like, I think this might actually make me angry. Not just like roll my eyes, but actually like, fuck you, what are you doing?
I think I've got such a low bar for David Cage. I just ignore most of his hackney writing anyway. For me, I think the thing that'll annoy me is having played something like Until Dawn, which I loved Until Dawn, because it did such a good job at creating that interactive movie, creating like a very personal story, and it just fit together and worked, you know? Like, at no point did it like, I look at it and go, I'm going to replay that chapter to see what could have gone. It's like, oh, this happened. This is my little story. Let's keep going. Where this, I don't get that. It's going to be like, because Beyond is exactly the same. I finish a chapter. I look at each chapter as an isolated little thing.
Yeah, they're all a bunch of vignette stories. Yeah. There's no real flow to the design.
I'm fairly sure in this one characters can die.
Yeah.
And I assume...
Well, in the demo you can die.
Because
I assume if you die in that scenario in the game, you just get put back together, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. So there may be more flow on between chapters than traditionally is. But maybe. We'll see. It definitely didn't make me think, I'm going to get this when it came out.
Here's my question about the world of Detroit Become Human.
Sorry?
Here's my question about the world of Detroit Become Human. Did they solve racism?
Did they solve it?
Because now that we've got we're just racist. We're just doing the exact same things to robots.
They found a new enemy.
Does that mean they stopped doing it to other races?
100%.
We're all cool with all Hispanics, all black people.
We don't like those filthy bots now.
Them bots.
Yeah.
They
should go back to where
wet bots.
Yeah,
those were shipped across the sea in those leaky containers.
They should go back to where they came from. Yeah. Taking all the gerbs.
Can we? Someone's got some really good racist puns. Please send them to bitsplease at 8.5bit.com. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It did very little to make me interested. It made me think all these decisions seem wrong, and I was actually kind of.
Yeah,
up with it before.
It made me think, I'll play this when it's free on PlayStation Plus.
Which it will be.
Yeah,
it
will be. Yep. One day. Okay, let's talk about some other video games. James, you've been playing Battletech.
Yes, so Battletech from Harebrained Schemes is a kind of modern take on the strategy game that is Battletech. So Battletech is a very old, I think it's from the 80s, mech warrior strategy game. It's hex-based and you design your mech and things like that. So this is taking that and making a modern version of it. The thing that's kind of cool about this is one of the people working on it is one of the original creators of Battletech. Nice. And there's a massive library of lore for this game. There's like books and it's almost like Warhammer. Like it's, like it's that kind of era of kind of strategy. So this one it's basically taking that old board game, miniature game, and turning it into XCOM. Is what they've done.
Yeah.
So what I was sort of expecting when I got this was that it would be basically just go from mission to mission. There's going to be some like, here's some mechs, go fight other mechs and kind of the end. But there's actually almost like this FTL level of game happening outside of it. So it's because once you finish your combat, and the combat, I'll get to the combat in a bit, but it's fine.
I can't wait for this fine combat.
No, it's average. The game surrounding it is really cool. Like the premise is that you're basically a mercenary crew, and you're on this ship. You've got a lot of debt for the ship, and you've got to survive as a mercenary crew. And that includes, you've got to buy your mechs, you've got to repair your mechs. Soldiers will die. You've got to hire them. You've got to skill them up, and you have to manage the morale and things like that. So the kind of way it works is you select missions, and then you go, I want to jump to some new system. It'll take some number of days, and you're like, cool, all right, what can I get done in those days? And you go, I'm going to repair this mech. This person can heal up. I'm going to order this and install this in here. And it feels like I'm managing like a mercenary company. And as you're traveling, you get these little encounters. This is where I say it gets a little bit FTL. So there'll just be random things that'll happen. And it could just be a little conflict. Like, as an example, one of them was like, you walk into like the mess hall and you find two of the characters arguing over the last cup of coffee. And one of the options is just go drink the coffee. And so
that's a real poor move.
Yeah. And you do that, and it's like, oh, okay. So they get kind of shitty at you. Morale is lowered for these two people, and like it will affect the next mission because their morale's low. Yeah. But it seems like a little inconsequential thing, but it feels like it makes it feel more personal. Because I was making a lot of early comparisons to XCOM 2 when I was playing it, because XCOM 2
as in Terror from the Deep, or
as you know the one I mean.
No, I didn't. That's why I was clarifying.
No, as in
current one.
Current
XCOM 2.
Yeah,
yes,
current XCOM 2. XCOM 4. No, 8.
No, just the current XCOM.
Current
series.
XCOM. So in that game, it has a similar thing where you go down and you fight, and then there's like all this kind of meta narrative kind of surrounding it. But in there, it feels like every choice they give you is about gameplay.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, I've got to do this thing or this thing, and I've got to make a choice. And if I don't do that, it'll say, you'll have this disadvantage for the next month or something like that. Where this one feels more like an adventure game. Like it's giving me choices where I actually don't know what the outcome's going to be. Could be good, could be bad. But
could be happy, could be sad.
Could be any of those things. But it feels...
Could be glad.
it feels like just...
Make a choice or I'll get mad.
Oh.
Teehee.
Paul's pretty rad.
I guess.
I mean, this wasn't for you. This is for Amy and I.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
Thanks, baby.
Yeah. It feels like I'm telling a much more personal story than XCOM, because I feel like when it gives me choices, it's about giving me a little bit of narrative flavor more than here's a mechanic. And I think it does that quite well.
So, you know what turned me off this game entirely?
What?
Someone was saying, so you can purchase a mech, outfit it, spend all the time, get it's a lot of money, get everything up. And then on the battlefield, this is because it's percentage chance. There's a percentage chance that you can just get one shot and the pilot can die.
Oh, yeah, that'll happen.
And then it's all just for fucking nothing. I'm like, I really liked Mario vs. Rabbids system.
Ah, yeah. See, this interested me a lot more than Mario vs. Rabbids, because that happening to me is an interesting interesting part of my story.
Not that interesting.
I don't mind that happening. So that's the meta part. It's nicely fleshed out. I enjoy it. I found I keep going back to it. Like it's fun. I like it. So then there's the actual combat part. This is where I think it's a bit more so. Like, and this is where if I want to make that comparison back to XCOM or Rabbids, like that is so super
or
tight.
Into the Breach.
Into the Breach is a really good one. Like, you look at Into the Breach and how its combat system works, and everything is so clearly communicated. I get it. This one less so. Like, I have to it doesn't immediately read what's going on as much. I'm starting to figure it out now. Put probably like 5-6 hours into it, and like I'm still learning. This is where the percentage lives here. Like, for example, one of the things is like you get an ability to multi-shot. So you can basically split your weapons up between multiple targets. And I'm like, oh, cool, that sounds like a good ability. And I'd select that and go attack this mech and attack this mech. Fire! And it'll all fire on the one mech. I'm like, what? I don't get it. And after a while, I figured out, in the bottom right, there's a list of all your weapons with like an A or B next to it.
Oh, you gotta
and you have
do
to
it
like
per weapon.
you got to
Yeah,
manually
yeah.
per weapon. And once I knew that, like that can make a lot of sense. Where if you got someone close range, you want to use one weapon.
But if you
further
selected
away-
multi-shot and you had only selected one target, the game probably should have said, "You've only selected one target." Would you?
Yeah. So it has some kind of communication problems like that. But I am learning them, and what I've liked about the combat is there's enough other things going on with stability and heat as a resource management that doesn't feel like I'm just playing XCOM. So one of the things you've got is when you fire your weapons, you generate heat.
Yeah.
And if you generate too much heat, it'll cause you damage. So you want to try and keep it to a minimum, but then someone can walk up to you with a flamethrower and hit you with a flamethrower, and it's going to generate heat. Or you can do something like go into the water and cool down. So there's little things in there, and this is where I think they've done.
But what if someone comes up with a water thrower?
Then that's good. That's nice. They should do that. That's fantastic.
Is there a water thrower?
No, not that I've seen yet.
Oh, fuck this game.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, you've got like this heat system, and then you've got stability because these are big mechs and they can fall over if they lose stability.
Yeah.
So there's terrain which is less stable, or you can run up someone and punch them, and that's going to lower the stability. Like there's just enough systems going on that kind of keep it interesting. So yeah, like it feels kind of like this kind of mid-tier, like in terms of production.
How do you find the pace of the game?
Good. Like the missions themselves probably last about 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. So they have this nice thing where like once you've beaten everything, it'll just warp you out. Like you have an objective. So you go in, it's like, destroy 2 buildings and 3 mechs. Like, cool, do that. But if you then go like destroy all the enemies, it's like, oh yeah, we can sit in the drop ship and pick you up. Otherwise, just go back. And we'll go back to the evac zone. So it's got a few little quality of life things there.
I hear a lot of comments about when you actually playing out a move and the speed of that and the cinematics that involve playing that. Even when you turn it to like fast, it's still like quite ponderous doing anything.
It's been okay. Like when you're out of combat, things will move simultaneously.
Yeah.
So it's turn-based, but you say move, and they'll all move.
Yeah.
And then once you've selected them all, then it'll drop to a cinematic camera and you see them all move. The moment combat starts, then it'll kind of slow down to what's going on.
But I mean, like compared to like an XCOM or something. Because I mean, I haven't seen it. This is just what I heard.
I would say it's slower, but I haven't gone looking for the option to make it go faster.
Oh, okay.
And I've played it for about 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad.
But that said, your tolerance for boredom has increased greatly recently.
That's true. I've been playing a lot of really slow games. And I think partly because they're mechs, I also expect they're going to be a bit lumbering.
You're not after them across mechs.
No, that would be kind of cool
Whoosh,
though.
whoosh.
Yeah. So I don't have a strong history with Battletech.
I have no strong feelings one way or the
so
other.
like it's not a lot of nostalgia for me. Like I know, like I have friends who are super into Battletech, and it because of the original creators on board, there's a lot of detail into all the lore.
What was Battletech originally? Is it an old game? Or?
Yeah, it's like
okay.
yeah, it's
'Cause
like,
it sounds like an old one of those like Bionicles Lego
So
things.
No,
have you ever had a mech warrior?
No.
So think of it like about the era of I was going to say like second ed D&D.
Okay.
Where like the game is sort of like it's a fairly complicated rule set where you have mechs and there's this big complicated sheet.
Oh, okay, yep.
Where you
So,
got this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, this weapon, and there's all these rules from like left arm's been hit and it's fallen off, or So
And it was actually in Macross that there's been a lot of like copyright claims back and forth.
wouldn't
over
surprise
years.
me.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
My
me.
other thing was going to be, was it a turn-based like tabletop thing?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
And this
Cool.
is where I like that because I've played the tabletop version before, and that version
Maybe that's
it's a
where
bit
I've
too
heard of it
slow for
before.
me. Like I didn't really like it that much. Where this one is so streamlined. Like if you're playing a 20 mission level, like a 20 mission, like 20 turn mission, it's not going to take you 4 hours. It's fine. Yeah.
Woo!
So,
Battletech.
I like it. Oh, there was also the controversy.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think it's really
no.
worth
Yeah,
mentioning.
it's not, yeah.
Because I think it was a controversy for like 20 dickheads.
Yeah, you're right. Let's move on.
There's always a controversy with
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Like,
It's so
you
much
know-
so that because when I mentioned it to someone, they went looking for it and they couldn't find
Yeah,
it.
okay.
That
then,
Labo
let's-
controversy.
let's move on
What was
then.
the Labo controversy? I don't know. Was it that some people talked about making cardboard dildos?
Probably.
that's-
I don't know.
I just assumed that
I
would
just
happen.
assume there's everything.
No, I was just referring to us now.
Oh,
this episode. The thing that I didn't mention is news. There are 2 games coming out, and I can't vouch for either because I haven't played it, but I thought they were both cool. They're both racing games. And we don't bring up racing games much. So
Unless it's Mario Kart.
Yes, we bring up Mario Kart. And these both go into the arcade side of racing, which I think has been, other than Mario Kart, has been a little bit looked over of recent times. So one is called Trailblazers, and I think it's out this week, so I might actually check it out. I think it's on Switch and PS4.
Trailblazers, yeah.
Yes, so it looks a little bit F-Zero. It's very colourful.
Okay.
Its concept is it's team racing. I don't know if there is a solo mode. I mean, like, there's solo play, but I think you might always be in a team. And it's a bit of a cross with Splatoon.
Oh.
So as you race, you can paint the course.
Yeah.
And then as you come back around the course,
You go faster?
if you're on your paint.
So there's a natural thing where
That's
if
cool.
you're last, then you're going to... Wait, no. If you're first, you'll be an advantage.
Well, then the person behind you can paint over your paint.
So if
Yeah.
you're last... if you're last, you're...
So
Yeah,
Wait,
so it's
who's
not-
at an advantage?
It doesn't necessarily give an advantage like that, but it does necessarily potentially give an advantage to not taking the optimal racing line. Because if everyone's taking the optimal racing line,
Yeah.
then everyone will just paint almost completely over each
Yeah.
other. So you have to start
So
taking
if you've gone
different
around
lines.
the outside and you've got like... You're suboptimal, but you've got...
But you get a huge speed boost off it. That could be
that's
so it
really
starts
cool.
bringing up these
So
interesting
was this
strategies.
Nintendo, or was it just
It's
something
on
else?
basically everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought
Okay.
you meant like because you said Splatoon. Like, is it
No,
Nintendo?
as in the painting mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's about getting that sort of
coverage.
yeah. It's about getting control of the map to a degree.
That makes you want a team-based
Well, that's why I said it is team based.
Yeah.
Think of all the different
So
stuff
if
you
someone's
can
at the
do.
front, they can be painting out, and then everyone can be racing up behind them and getting super boosts.
Ah, see, this could...
Think of all
I'm
the
just-
vehicle customizations.
Well,
you can
I'm
do.
just thinking all the
Small-
strategies.
So-
So, you could have someone
Very,
behind
very,
you that's lagging, but it's like trying to lay down more paint,
Like
so
you
the
could,
person ahead of
have
you
like
can
a
get more
tanky
speed.
vehicle with
person
a
at the back
really
is
big
zigzagging,
wide
so you're at least
thingy.
getting some every
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
stuff like that.
Well, you could be in like a tank vehicle and have a really wide roller type thing, but if you're in a little bike or something that goes super
So you have
zippy,
to- yeah.
you've got a really thin paint.
Oh, I really
I
like
don't think
that.
they have brushes. I think it's not that Splatoony,
But I can instantly
But it would be
think...
really, really cool.
and it's very bright and colourful.
I can instantly think of a lot of ways this could change what racing is. Like,
Here's another one for you.
oh, okay, oh, beautiful.
Upcoming game called Onrush.
Okay.
So again, it's racing and it's team-based racing.
Yep.
In fact, I don't think Onrush even has a finish line. I think Onrush is more getting points.
Okay.
And this is it is class-based. So you pick a class, and then you basically have to keep getting boost. And the longer you can get boost, you can start doing on-rush effects, which are things that might drain boost from people around you, give it to your teammates, be able to crash or blind people. Huge amount of power-ups, so they're all class-specific ones.
Yep.
And on top of all of that, it's got creeps.
That's a MOBA?
So you're racing in a circuit,
Yep.
but there are just black non-team races that are basically go down on one hit. But taking them out pushes your rush up, so
Yeah.
you can keep boosting the whole time. So it's a game about work. So keeping your whole team making points.
Yep.
And basically it's round based. So in fact, you don't even stop rolling between rounds. It just goes, okay, you won that round. Now it's
Yep.
the next round. But it's about keeping that up by attacking the non-player characters, and also attacking player characters, because you can take them out as well with the right moves and everything. Pulling off these moves, working as a team. Like, I was watching some of this going like, I don't necessarily get all of the strategies because
Yeah.
it's dense as fuck. I'm like, never played a game like it.
No.
looks-
They both sound real interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Tell you
what a week for weird arcade races.
What's that first one again?
The first one's called
Trailblazer?
Trailblazers, which
Yeah.
I do believe is out this week.
Oh, you made me really interested in that.
And Onrush. Yeah. I hope the Switch port is good because I think it's out on everything this week.
Okay.
If it is, I'll get that. If not, I might
I'm
get the
sad my
PS4.
idea isn't the real one though.
Just having actual paintbrushes.
Like having
Just
just
variable
different
thickness.
vehicles that have variable
Yeah.
thickness.
I mean, there are different vehicles. I can't go for
Maybe
the
they
thickness,
do,
though.
because I think it's a really good idea.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, so they were my two little things. that I
No,
found
they
this
sound real
week.
cool.
Woo.
Amy, is there anything else you've been playing that you want to talk about?
A little bit Crypto Necrodancer, but it was just basically new characters. There's
Time for a Crypto Necrodancer update.
Shush.
Do the theme song, James.
It's time for a Crypto Necrodancer.
Update.
Why?
All right, go, Amy.
And many more.
Okay, so Paul, you know how Azazel is really cool and he's powerful. And
Yeah.
so in Binding of Isaac, and he's got all his lasers and stuff. So
Yeah, because I'm a hack. I almost only play him because I suck.
But he's hard to actually play a run through unless you have the right items, right?
No, I'm just good with him all the time.
Okay, whatever. So there's this character in Crypto Necrodancer called Reaper, and so every time you kill an enemy, a little ghosty spawns. So those little ghosties will go and attack the enemies around you, like. So they're beside you. They're at a fixed point, and when you run around, they'll hit each enemy for 1 heart.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just thought
So you
that
can
was
build
really
up a little army of ghosties.
And like, so when you
And is this a new character that's on the Switch?
Only
version?
Switch.
Okay.
And so, like when you're stuck beside a character attacking them multiple times, the ghosties will move out 1 beat every time. So you
Do you try to get the mosty of the ghosties?
pretty much. And the latest levels are really easy when you've got all the ghosties because you just run through and there's no enemies around because you've killed them all with the ghosties.
Great work, James.
What?
Yay!
Attention.
I was just pretending James was playing the game. It was a new fun game where I pretend you speak for James and James speaks for you.
This is a game that's only going on in Paul's head.
It's a fun game I play.
So I'm a cool game person. Okay.
You always were a cool game person.
No, I
With your
don't.
fluffy beard.
I don't have a beard. I don't want a
Again,
beard.
picturing Amy with my beard.
I don't want a beard. Beards are scary.
That-
Any
so
other
good.
crypt fun?
That's about it.
Okay.
I had fun with it.
Okay, I'll just click
Tick.
that off.
But until next time.
Now, James,
Yes.
anything else you wish to talk about?
Oh
I feel like vetoing half your list, but continue.
no. Let's talk about Star Citizen.
Fuck, that was the number 1 veto game. So eventually you got the game to do something, I'm told.
Oh.
Please tell me the story of your box.
my box.
Didn't you have to do a delivery? Was it this you?
I have so many stories with this game because I've been hate
Okay.
playing it for the last 2.5
Oh
weeks.
my goodness.
So because
But okay, what I love about you hate playing this game
Yes.
is that everything, it doesn't work. It's all fucked up. It's
Yeah.
like, I need to find the game. And then I point out, it's not a released game yet. It's not finished. And sure, it never will be. But still, just leave it. Just leave it. There's no reason to play it.
but I keep loving. Like I spent too much money on it, and now
Why? Why did you spend money
Now
on it?
I need to justify it with my hate play.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
play it.
You
So tell us
spent money
about
on
your
it.
hate.
No, okay. So I'll tell you about my box.
Okay, I mean, I know, but it's a good story.
Yeah, because
Okay.
there's been
I don't
updates
know if
to
I've
this
heard about
box
it.
story as well.
Oh, I actually saw someone on newsfeed yesterday
I'm not sure if I've heard about this
So-
box story.
So
because it got patched in.
oh, did it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
The amazing fix got put in.
Okay, so
So is it a real life story or in the game?
In-game.
I've been playing.
Okay.
I've been playing Star Citizen. I've had, let's just say, a very mixed experience with it, and the way it is collecting pledges. But okay, so I've got this mission where I need to get space medicine. I need to go get my space medicine, pick it up from a planet, and then take it to someone. That's my mission. Simple mission. And I've got 2 spaceships. So I try to use my good spaceship. And I spawn it in, and I go to get in my good spaceship. I can't get into it. Like the doors, there's no option to open the
okay.
doors. So after about 3 or 4 days of trying to get into my starship, I gave up and then used my, because I do sessions of this, right? Like,
Yeah.
because I get angry and then I quit and then I come back, a day
Of
later and
course.
try again. So I'll get into my Mustang, and this one I can actually get inside.
Mustang.
So I get in my Mustang and I take off, and as soon as I leave space, I get blown up because someone griefed me. So that was like end of that session. Okay,
Sweet.
cool. So let's do it the next day, next one. So I get in my spaceship, it takes off. I then fly to the planet, and all is going well. I've learnt the controls enough to do that. I aim for what I need to pick up on the ground, so I fly down, I aim down. That part was actually pretty cool. Like going through atmosphere, the way the planet all streamed in, all cool. Got in, landed, got out. Great. Okay, so now I'm going to get my space medicine. So I'll get out of my ship and ponder over to the space station. Go in, walk inside. No one's there, but that's cool. It's giving me a waypoint to the space medicine. Pick up the space medicine, physically holding it.
Yep.
Go back. Cool, I got it. I'm going to do a mission. Go back, open the ladder to my Mustang, try to climb up, falls to the ground.
You're dead.
I know, I dropped the space medicine. It's like, okay, go down, pick up the space medicine again, climb up, drop it. Can't get the space medicine. After about 5 or 6 times of trying to get it into my ship, it just couldn't pick up anymore. Like, it's just like, this is no longer an object you can interact with. And that was it. Go look at the forums. It's like, oh no, this ship doesn't support putting things in it.
Wow.
Like, oh, well, thanks game. So that was like, I think that's the last update you got.
So
so you
since
can't
then,
put items in your little ship.
So since then, I've managed to get my good spaceship working because there was a little hack I did that made it magically work again. After it got clipped into the space station for a while, I sent a great picture of it where it just went in.
So is that the one you sent to our Discord?
Yeah. So now I'm like, okay, cool. So I've got this better spaceship, and I do it again. Like leave the planet, go to get the space medicine, land, pick it up, go outside, try to get it in, can't do it. Like, the ladder comes down, I can open the door to the spaceship, but there's no way for me to get it from the ground into the spaceship. And I used it until I could no longer interact with it anymore. And I'm like, okay, YouTube time. How the hell do you load things into this spaceship? So there's a video of a guy, and he opens up, and you can see he's got a lot of things in his spaceship. Like, this guy's figured it out. So the secret is what you do is you get into the spaceship, you turn it on, you lower the landing gear, right? And then you gently put the belly of the ship on the ground until the wings are touching the ground.
And it clips in?
At that point, you can get out, pick up your space medicine, and put it inside your ship. And off I go to deliver my space medicine.
Excelsior!
Why?
This is one of the stories I've had.
Insane.
My favorite introduction to this game was the first time I've ever loaded it up before. And I'm like, cool, all right, let's explore this. Performance is terrible. I walked down into the space station, opened the door. Something must have clipped, and the door, I think, closed on my legs.
Nice.
And it just said, like, blood loss. And then I died.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, killer doors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So...
What would you rate this game out of 10?
10 out of scam. I'm pretty sure it's a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole other side of this is the pledge system.
Yes, tell me about that. Have you guys actually done this on the show yet?
Oh, it's complicated.
Yes, it is. That's why I've been trying to get people to talk about it.
But basically, I looked at it and went, this would make a fantastic free-to-play system. It's all about trade-ups. They've got this thing where, like, they have this thing called lifetime insurance. And this is a thing, because when you have a ship, if it blows up, you have to pay in-game money to basically do a claim to get it back. Or you pay in-game money to have insurance on the ship so you get it back for free, something like that. So as part of the pledge system, if you buy a ship, you can get what's called lifetime insurance. Most ships you buy will come with 3 months, 6 months of insurance. This one, you can get them lifetime insurance, right? Now, they've got this really weird system where if you buy a ship, you can upgrade it to another ship for real money. So if you buy a cheap ship, let's say, like, by cheap, I mean $50 per a ship.
Like real money?
Like real money.
What?
So if you buy one of these ships with lifetime insurance, you can then pay money to get upgraded to a more expensive ship and keep the lifetime insurance.
How much is an expensive ship?
Oh, they can get into the, like, I think the most expensive is like in the thousands.
What?
Yeah.
People spend that on spaceships.
Yeah, there was a change recently to the terms and conditions when you buy, that when you buy it, it's very clear about this is a pledge. Because there were some issues recently where someone was like, he put like $5,000-$6,000 into this game. He's like,
oh my goodness,
this has been going on for 5 years and hasn't delivered. I want my money back. And he did get it back. Like, he actually got a refund. But now they've, like, after a certain date, it's like, no, it's now a pledge.
So I can't get to today's number, but in January they'd raised $177 million.
Yeah.
Okay. That's insane.
Yeah.
So you're actually going to buy the game, then you pay for the ships on top of that.
You still get a ship when you buy the game, but not the good ones.
Yeah. So
So there's ships that are locked behind real money.
Yes. Now,
Okay.
they say that once the game comes out, that option's going away.
Sure will.
Sure will. There was a thing where, like, they got the funding they wanted, and they did put it to the community and said, do you want us to keep doing this, basically? And they said yes. So
that's because the only community left was the people that spent thousands of dollars on ships.
So it's
Everyone
like
else had
basically,
run.
Yeah.
Run for the fucking hills.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's basically asking all the people who invested way too much money, do you still want to keep up this
Yep.
addiction and want the dream?
Look, I'm going to play
actually really
5 hours
sad.
of Squadron 42 and then I'm going to leave it.
That's actually really sad.
I so want this thing to be good. Like, I play it, I'm like, this, it has all the things which James likes, but it's just so broken.
Yeah.
So that's my Star Citizen story.
It's a good story.
Got a robot named Fight on the Switch.
Oh, how's that?
It's the exact same game. It's still real good.
Yeah.
Nice.
Man, that was
And
quick.
that's the end of
was
that
easy
one.
to do.
Yeah.
If you don't know what it is a roguelike Metroidvania, which actually works. And the guy who did an AMA on Reddit when it launched, and a lot of the questions just about how do you do the whole generating, like, lock and key, like trying to make an interesting map that you have to traverse back and forth Metroidvania style, but randomized. And it's like, yep, that was the entire challenge of making the game.
Yeah.
That was the hard bit.
Yeah.
So it's like, because you can even have like sequence breaking things and everything in there. So it's sort of like,
Oh, I wonder if he procedurally puts in sequence breaking.
Well,
Because that'd be pretty cool if he did.
the rule is kind of like it's not necessarily there on purpose, but it generates allowing it, and he doesn't disallow it.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
So there are tricks that the community have worked out with some of the traversal mechanics. He's like, well, it doesn't break the game, so yeah, sure, go for it.
Also, someone's asking, what does finished mean for Star Citizen, was it?
What does it mean?
Yep.
I'd say
released.
finished is going to be when they get Squadron 42 out. That's going to be the first finished because that'll be a retail product. It'll have to be somewhat finished. The rest of it, I don't know. It's just
When they sell a disc.
Yeah.
When it's good enough that they won't get picked up from consumer law for selling it. Yeah.
When you can get a mission and the mission is actual achievable in the game.
Yeah, that'd
without
be a good start.
Lowering the ship onto the ground by removing the
Yeah,
landing gear.
stupid
Yes.
medicine.
Yeah.
Space medicine.
So Cal says so never. Yeah, pretty much. I will say in its defense, I am seeing more of the kind of things I'd expect for that would actually see it being done. Like they're being very transparent about everything that is going on. They're giving regular reports. Like I feel like almost like I'm going to say Sea of Thieves as well. As I'm seeing similar things in their being open about the development process. So I mean they're good signs. It means that like they're being honest about what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
I don't have a lot of faith in project. But
this thing's been going on
Let's
so
go
long now.
Okay, so back to God of War talk.
Oh yeah.
I just looked at my COD of War.
Your COD of War.
So, in as is unsurprising, and if you really don't want to know in those basic things, I guess tune out now. Goodbye. But we're just like this is what basic Norse mythology.
Amy's already tuned
Norse
out.
mythology has realms.
Yes.
And you go to a number of these realms in the game. Now, some of them that you open are optional, and one of them, and this is mostly post-game content that you do. So one of them is a bunch of arenas.
Yeah.
And that's kind of cool. And the other one is a randomly generated roguelike dungeon. And it's just like, man, they've already put all the DLC in here.
Yeah.
It's just like, because there isn't any DLC. There's nothing
No,
coming.
like it was announced there's nothing coming. Because there are realms you can't access in there, but that's more like...
But they're story-based, the reasons you're not going. You expect you'll go there in future. You did go to more realms than I thought you would.
Yeah, but I expect those realms of future games.
Yeah, they'll be in future games, yeah. But it's straight up, it's like, oh, wow. So you've got sort of challenge mode. Yeah, challenge mode, the arena battles. You've got an endless mode.
Yeah.
You've got like... Yeah, you kind of got everything covered in this
there
game.
is so much bang for your buck in that game.
There's a lot of stuff in there. That's all I just wanted to say. I thought those were worth mentioning.
But
Crazy
is there
value.
a battlefield mode?
No, I'm pretty sure that's not happening.
You kind of require multiplayer.
Yeah. We'll get that in Red Dead too.
Maybe. What if there was no multiplayer? That would be the biggest shock of all.
Yeah.
We heard everyone complaining about it, so we've just gone purely single player.
Yep.
Which would piss off just as many people.
Yeah.
Anyway,
All
good.
box systems.
Anything else you want to mention before we finish up?
No, I'm good.
My Pikachu DS is really cute.
Yeah. So was your other 3DS broken?
No, it was just too small.
So did you sell it?
No.
Can I have some money?
No. Why do you want money?
Because you fuckers have too much money.
We also don't have houses.
Also, I wouldn't be getting anything for it anyway. It's that old and
I don't know what the going price is.
yeah, I
for
don't
it.
imagine it's very much.
But I'll buy the same thing again. It's got a Pikachu, but also bigger screen.
It's-
I understand you want it
Yeah.
for other reasons, but also 3DS sucks.
Oh.
Good for you. Enjoy
big
it.
call,
You
big
just,
call.
just okay.
Of course,
I'm
I
gonna
have
leave
two
them.
3DSs.
Yeah.
Well, the girl at the store,
I only bought one.
she's there's this one girl who usually serves me. She's lovely, and I found out today when I was buying it that she collects the Pokemon edition 3DSs. So yeah, that's an expensive hobby.
It would be.
Yeah.
That's all right. I just saw things on the chat and I thought I'd have a look. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that pretty much brings us to the end of today's episode.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay. Any closing business?
No.
Is there anything big coming out in the next few weeks? I mean, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze came
I
out.
Came
bought
out.
that. I haven't played it yet.
But I can
Surprisingly,
borrow
right?
it, right? Because you're not going to
Yeah,
play it for another
whatever.
month.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We've got money bags over here.
You're gonna- Yeah.
What is coming out?
Crash Bandicoot in July, I think, though. It's July.
And Switchy.
There's a Dark Souls network test next weekend.
Oh yes, and you have to download it before the network test. So
yeah,
I
it's
think that
very
might be
strange.
now.
Yeah, I need to make sure when I get
Yeah.
home to make sure that's
Yeah,
downloaded.
you download it. and
Deadpool's
then-
coming
yeah.
out.
That is a movie.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true. It is coming out.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
It
I like
has
Deadpool.
Josh Brolin in it again because he gets to play two big players in Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first
I
one.
really enjoyed Deadpool, so I'm gonna
Super
watch.
Troopers 2 is playing, and
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
need
even
to-
realize, and it's probably going to be gone by the time we can see it.
Yeah, we need to see that before it goes away.
Solo's coming out soon.
Yeah, but
It looks
we all
alright.
know it's going to be bad.
It looks alright.
It's going to be so bad.
You're so mean. I think I'd enjoy it. It looks fun.
I wanted to go to Amelia Clark acting lessons.
Are you gonna-
That's the worrying thing. You hear like the main guy, I forget his name, that
Yeah.
they had to get like special acting lessons for him because he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
And then it's like, so he's so bad you didn't have to get Amelia Clark access.
Because I don't even think he's particularly well cast. Like
I-
Lando Calrissian is. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
well cast. But
Dom Lover is the best.
Han Solo is like I look at him, I don't really
He doesn't look like.
No, I don't really see it.
Yeah.
Like it looks fine, but I don't
just
see
doesn't
Harrison
look like
Ford
it.
there.
No.
Hey, he was good in Hail Caesar, and that's all that matters. Okay, so that brings us to the
Thirst
end.
Crusher.
What?
I was got a comment calling it the Thirst Crusher.
Oh, the Thirst Crusher. What Thirst Crusher's the thirst?
Solo.
Oh, Solo. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, delicious.
I was gonna say I do want some solo.
yeah, I'm thirsty now.
I've been half tempted to go down to the 7-Eleven down the road and pick up a Slurpee.
Do it.
How
Do
can you
it.
be half tempted?
Do it.
I'm half tempted because I'm like, yeah, but I want to
That's so
have
much sugar.
I think I've got a solo at home.
Still sounds like you're being tempted.
Yeah,
You look at it with a Slurpee money.
I've
it's $1. Everyone, like most people, have Slurpee money.
most people have Slurpee man. Spoken like the bourgeoisie. Let them have Slurpees. The proletariat will rise up on this Labor Day.
They've still got the Simpsons.
We will make
donuts
one
as
large
well.
Slurpee which all can share.
They've also got the Simpsons donuts still out, and they were really good. The Krispy Kreme, they're really nice.
Are they stuffed
Get it
with
in
real
my belly.
Simpsons?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for watching or listening to 8.5-Bit. You can go to our website, our Facebook, our Twitter, our whatever. I've forgotten what I say.
SoundCloud.
No,
Thanks, Amy.
we're not. You can join us live on Discord, which apparently works fine with a decent sound
Yeah,
level
it's
now.
not,
that we've
not
got that
just
all
a
sorted out.
microphone sitting on my desk.
Yeah, now it uses the line out of the actual desk. It's
Yeah.
good. YouTube, blah, blah, blah. I've already said things. I don't know what I've said at all. I've been your
You've
host,
ruined
Paul.
it.
I've been James.
Goodbye. I'm Amy.
Oh, man. Do we cut before she gets to say, I'm Amy? No. Okay, let's just click out of this thing.